following her. Like she only had like 18K subs, and I
There
checked
we
the other
go.
day. She has 75K now, and one of her videos got like 800,000 views. So good for her.
Good for her indeed.
That's neat.
Cool, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
it worked this
her
time.
video
We
has
are live.
941,000 views now. That's crazy.
Nice. Link that in my server, and then we will be good to go.
Are we already live, or?
Should be. If you guys want to go
Alright.
check and make sure that that's in fact true,
I
that'd be
can
fucking
check that,
excellent.
Yeah, it's like you have one viewer.
Ooh. It's probably me.
You're so
Cool.
cooked.
I have it
Steve.
open.
Yeah.
I am so
the
cooked.
one Chief Talks fan.
Hello. Got a few people in chat now. Very nice. Very nice.
I will keep it. I will look at this chat, I guess.
All right. Yeah, no, it's working now. I'm seeing chat.
Interesting.
Open
Yeah,
Streamlabs. Wonderful. Wonderful indeed.
First tip: make Star Wars non-political. So true. Star Wars is actually the least political franchise of all time.
Well,
Okay,
what was that? What was that one
not
tweet that was
Leo.
linked in the chat earlier? That was like, yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
You know,
Lord of the Rings, no ideology.
zero ideologies. Like, oh, I was not aware of this. I'm so glad to have you to tell me that.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't be doing woke stuff. I don't know. I don't understand. And I hope, you know, spoilers for what the stream is, but I hope when we watch this video where the Gold Man lays out to us how to fix Star Wars, he goes into how it needs to stop being woke. Because obviously that is its biggest problem and has been for the last decade and change.
Yeah, Goldman, notable woke YouTuber.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, welcome everybody. This is a sort of spiritual sequel to the stream that I tried like 3 different times to do a couple of weeks ago, playing Marvel Rivals to promote a GoFundMe that I have linked down in the description. It's for a friend of mine who I know personally who's going through a lot of financial troubles right now. Stuff to do with his car breaking down all the time, his dog in need of dire medical attention because he's got a big bump on his head that just keeps getting bigger, blood coming out of it. It's a whole thing. And I love that dog. I love it like it's my own because it was for a good many years there. So that's what this is for. We're just going to watch a very competent and very good YouTuber that we all, I think, have nothing but the deepest reverence for, as he explains to us in nearly 20 minutes how he would go about fixing Star Wars. That is what this is. Please, you know, donate to the GoFundMe if you can, and if you can't, you know, please do what you can to share it around. And yeah, that's the introduction. I'm waiting on food. I was hoping it would get here before I started, but then the DoorDash driver was being slow and is still not here, so there might be
Is he watching the stream?
He's
Yeah,
watching
probably
this.
eat your food.
He should be getting here like literally right now. So there's a chance that I just mute for like 5 minutes while you guys shoot the shit. This is a very professional stream. There
Actually,
it
I
is.
think we
It's
should do
here.
some like ASMR.
All right.
I think we should do some ASMR, just eating into the microphone.
You guys chat amongst
Enough
yourselves
ASMR,
real
please. I
quick.
got enough ASMR chocolate ads as
We'll
it
get
is.
Bagel. We'll get Bagel to do whale noises for ASMR. Just while we're waiting.
I'm just gonna put on Megalopolis and I'll just sit back and
I will kill you and your entire bloodline.
I think that
I will
everyone in
end
chat,
your genetic lineage.
that's
It's
I mean
a lot.
probably for the best. I can't even lie. So anyway,
I can
Sheev
do that, hang
talks
on.
really bad YouTuber. Am I right?
Terrible guy.
Oh yeah, just the worst.
He just
An
has these
abysmal
woke takes.
YouTuber.
How do I?
Like,
Yeah,
pin
I
this?
think so.
Can't
He's supposed
agree.
to insert his leftist
Sorry,
politics
Steve.
into
How do I
everything
pin
he
this
does.
in the chat?
Well, Jolly, according to the Mahler subreddit, he's actually your puppet. So
Well,
So
I
you
mean
just
that's
spouts-
true, but
he just
I'm
spouts your
also
woke rhetoric.
yeah, I'm a left-wing woke libtard as well, so you know that tracks.
Based.
You know what really offends me about being called a libtard? It's not even just the implication that I'm left-wing because I am. It's the implication that I'm more right-wing than I actually am because I'm not a liberal.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah, it's like liberals DNI. Only radical socialists join the stream, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, how do I pin this
We're
in
not
the
taking
chat?
neoliberal nonsense.
Oh,
he
he's
is not.
muted.
He's
I
not
forgot he
a
was
computer right
muted.
now.
Shit.
Yeah.
She was probably like
I got
crouching
him.
like by his door, just like munching on his burger right now.
Finis converses.
Yeah, he's not coming
clear.
back.
So
He's just
true.
eating.
I got him.
I'm just gonna read the chat while we're here. Goldman beat me to death with a stick and left me in a ditch. So true.
Yeah. That
Maul
sucks, buddy.
Shadow Lord threw a brick at me and that sentence does not make grammatical sense. Jorking
Just that person
me.
in chat being like, liberal,
Okay.
liberal, liberal,
All right,
liberal.
Hannah, calm down.
Hannah, are you having a stroke by any chance? What are these messages you're sending in the chat? Isn't this the guy that absolutely glazes the Clone Wars? So true. He loves the Clone Wars. He has no problems with
loves
it,
it.
with it at all.
Bagel, I have a message you'll like. Give it everything bagel seasoning. True.
Oh, I love that.
Wait,
I don't think
Bagel.
I don't think you
You see the thing I sent you the other day? With like, in regards to calling Full Metal Alchemist like an everything bagel?
Sure, but send it to me off stream.
No, I said I
So we don't
did
have to
send it
clutch
to
it.
you. I said I
okay.
did send to you like 2 days ago or whatever.
Someone
Oh.
in chat has said they want Sheev's thoughts on the Darth Maul show, so I can actually answer that because he and I have talked about the first 2 episodes. It's abysmal. It is horrifically bad.
You guys
in fact, it's so
watched
bad that I'm pretty sure that Sheev was debating whether or not he's going to make a video on it, and so he watched the first 2 episodes just out of curiosity and was like, "Jolly, this is terrible." And I was like doing nothing. It was like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I just whacked them on and had a watch, and they are awful, even by Disney Star Wars standards. They're really bad. And they're so bad that they might have infuriated Steve enough that he will actually make a video on them, I think, at some point now. It's catastrophically terrible.
So you're telling me he hates Star Wars?
How do you guys still have the patience to watch anything Star Wars, like, aside from Andor? That's my question.
I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess, is what it is. It's just like, occasionally I need to hurt myself to feel alive, and, it's more physically healthy to watch Star Wars than it is to, I don't know, cut myself with a
That's
razor or
true.
something.
Well,
I mean,
will say
I-
that. Oh, is it
Sorry.
worse than Kenobi or Ahsoka? You'll have to ask Steve
Oh,
what his thoughts on that are.
I will tell you
it's
something that's
not
worse
as bad
than
as
Kenobi.
Ahsoka.
I'll tell you something that's worse than Kenobi. Fallout. Fuck Fallout. Fuck everyone who
Yeah, it's a
likes
bad
it. Yeah, I hate that show. I don't know why people like it. Some of you shill it for some reason. I don't fucking know
Why?
why.
No,
You say
look
something
at me. I
mean.
don't fucking shell this thing.
No. I mean some of Chief's server members.
Yeah.
She was so angered by the Maul show that he's actually listening in on our discussions about it, and he said he doesn't think it's anywhere near as bad as Kenobi.
Fallout season
that's
2.
fine.
On the
I
other
think
hand.
it's close to being as bad as Kenobi, although we've only had 2 episodes. I guess we'll just have to see how the rest of it pans out.
Wait, Jolly, have you seen the rest of Fallout season 2 yet?
No, but I've been told what happens, and like people are showing me clips of it, and
Fascinating.
I'm just like,
I love AI
abysmal.
Mr. House.
The Boys
Well,
season
no,
5 is
who's
pretty
safe?
terrible so far. Wow, shocking. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, it is.
Yeah, I've heard
It
it's
is
really
also
bad.
very bad.
All right, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm getting ready to go outside, touch grass, and collect bugs responsibly. Fuck the Brotherhood of Steel. Fuck Slop Out.
True. I'm
Oh my
always
gosh.
saying this.
Sorry, yeah, House
House
GPT.
GPT.
My bad.
I was GPT. That's funny.
I just like how Walter Goggins doesn't even seem to know where he is anymore in that show. Like, he's just wandering around collecting a paycheck and like wondering why his goggles company isn't doing that well.
Wait, I just thought it
He's
was.
just-
Is this about Fallout? Is that what
He's
you
the
think is
front
generic?
zombie.
If that's about Fallout, no. Fallout's not just generic. The plot is awful. Like every character is just terribly written. It's genuinely one of the worst things I've ever seen. I don't know why it's beloved either. It just does not deserve the reputation that it has.
All right, I'm back.
It does have that.
actually-
It does have that curious phenomenon of people being like, "Oh, the only people who don't like the show are the OG fans of the OG games because, like, it doesn't adhere to canon. But otherwise, it's a good show." I'm like, "No, it isn't. Even if you've never played those games, it's a terrible show."
Yeah, I've actually like tested this with like a watch party with a few other people who like know nothing about Fallout. Yeah, the worst problems are its own. Like even season 1, like I thought it was a 4 before. After the watch party, it's down to a 2. It's
Chief's
awful.
back, fun's over.
Yeah. All right, enough Fallout.
Yeah.
Back to Flop Wars.
Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
Chief. We gave away your social ID cards and your
Yeah, no, I was there.
credit card details and everything.
I literally just had
I'm
myself
aware.
muted here and on the stream and just was listening to your entire conversation while cramming a fucking burrito down my throat as fast as I could.
Badass.
I
Uh-huh.
don't want to picture that. Thank you. Just, like inhaling it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of
I can't
stupid
weigh
garbage,
in sorry, I can't weigh in on the Fallout discussion. Have not seen it. Do not care.
I need to show it to you, please. So
as for
funny.
Maul Shadow Lord, yeah, fucking terrible. Worse than I expected it to be, but I don't think it's. I think Jolly's a little harsher on it so far than I am. I don't think it's as bad as like the majority of live action Disney Star Wars.
We have $5 from someone.
Yes,
have y'all
indeed.
seen the amazing digital circus? I'd love to see a stream of all you reviewing it. Something more positive for a change.
she
I do
has
not
not.
watch
I
SMG4
don't think.
Slops, so no, I've not seen it.
My friend really likes it. She says my friend said it's really good. So
Jolly's been
check it
trying
out.
to get
I
me
mean,
to watch it because
I've-
he rates it pretty highly.
Yeah, I've watched it. I think it's good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's like the greatest thing ever. I just think it's a solidly good show, and I enjoy it quite a lot.
yeah, it's no Ahsoka season 1, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Damn.
It's probably good, but like the art style and character design just kind of pissed me off, so I refuse to watch it.
Yeah.
You know who else randomly
gonna say,
refuses to watch that is Stir. Like he just like vehemently refuses and like angrily so.
The Amazing Digital Circus?
Yeah. But then
Oh, yeah.
if you don't go
Twin Peaks.
one day without watching a Twin Peaks episode, he loses his shit. Anyway,
That's so valid. That's so valid.
not the point. The
Okay.
point
Oh my
is
God.
the Gold Man is going to teach us, dear viewers,
True.
how to go about fixing Star Wars because we all agree that it's in a bit of
I'm
a rut.
sure this will be good.
It's got a couple bumps, even though it's overall still great. Obviously, just a couple minor tweaks I think
Perfection.
that need to be made. So is everyone ready?
I guess.
No.
Yeah. why
Yeah,
not?
let's get on with it.
Let's just dive right in. All right. Oh, have you guys all joined the? I got
I'm
three
in,
people
yeah.
in the
I'm
watch
in,
together,
I'm
which
in,
is
yeah.
everyone else who's not.
Oh wait, I should
Hannah and Bagel,
not.
get in the watch
Oh, you-
together.
It's not even.
Come
Stop
I
on.
see
disrespecting
it.
women, Chief. Come on.
It's linked in the chat.
I sent the link in the chat. Yeah,
Oh.
Hold on.
Right.
you fools.
Ugh, fine.
You you are so well organized, you two.
Wait. Look.
Why
Why
don't
is
you
Cindy
give them
Cindy
my
in the chat? Ew.
Why
get
don't
him
I
outta
give them
here.
my personal information?
Who's in the
You
chat?
don't?
Okay. Oh, it's gonna be on my phone. Oh no. It's gonna be terrible.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, I
It's
assume
His
fine.
I'm.
wife are named Chief Queens.
because I named myself
Chief
I'm
that.
gonna
Queens.
watch it. But why?
Fuck you. All right, is everyone ready?
I think so.
I'm ready.
I see one person's icon is gray instead of green. I don't know if that's an indication. Oh, they've named themselves Big Fart. Wonderful.
That's
all right,
Hannah.
we're all
That's
ready.
definitely Hannah.
Oh, that's
Glad-
the rules. How do you change your name? I'm gonna make it as offensive as possible.
I'm going to start
It
the
should
video.
give you an option
there we go.
there.
Oh, turning that down a bit, I think.
Star Wars is in a pretty rough spot right now. You see, despite
could
having
say.
a pretty great year in 2025, excitement for the brand overall
All right.
I
and
mean-
despite having a pretty great year in 2025, and then it proceeds to show Skeleton Crew, not off to the
I mean,
best
there's
start,
Andor.
but Andor was there, and Andor was obviously a pretty great part of Star Wars.
I don't know
So,
why that wasn't his example at all.
Well, he showed both, but it's
I mean, I
like,
guess
oh,
by-
Did he?
Really
Okay, I guess I
relative
missed that. I guess I
standards.
missed that.
I guess by relative standards, like Skeleton Crew is like a big step up from what they usually put out.
The bar's in hell. At
I
that
consider
point.
it better
I
than like
don't know, I haven't
Maul
seen it,
Shadow
but-
Lord or fucking the Bad Batch, which is where I'd put
I
like
would
mediocrity.
rather watch Skeleton Crew than either of those things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did someone start the video over? How dare you?
Who
I
did
was
that?
trying to turn the volume. I think that might have been me. I tried to turn the volume up. Sorry. I
All
didn't
right.
know how to do this.
Off to a wonderful start, I think.
Star Wars is in a pretty rough spot right now. You see, despite having a
Someone's echoing.
That was me. I'm gonna
Okay.
mute.
Ah,
pretty great year in 2025, excitement for the brand overall is pretty low. The first Star Wars movie in 7 years is coming out in 2 months, and not many people are excited about
Even
it.
that
If
logo looks
releasing the
terrible.
final season of one of the best
It's so
shows of the
generic.
decade isn't enough to save the franchise, then what will? Well, with Kathleen Kennedy finally out the door, and with Dave Filoni promoted to
wait. Does Goldman have like a Kathleen Kennedy hate boner? I thought he was one of the
I
more
don't know.
like.
Probably.
Was that like a joke? Was that him just being like, "Oh, finally," or does he
I
actually
assume
think?
so.
I don't know. I think she occupies a weird position even amongst the pro Disney camp of like people feel like she was holding Dave Filoni back in some way. I think that's like a position she's
Good.
taken out quite recently.
Why does she do that
Which-
more?
Yeah, I was about to say, which like that might be the best thing she's ever done. I don't know.
Well, it is a thing. I think we talked about this on like the last stream we did, but like one of the things that like Kathleen Kennedy is known to have done, which is honestly like based as hell, is that like I'm pretty sure she's the reason that the only Star Wars project in the last like decade that Filoni hasn't been allowed to touch in any capacity was Andor.
Base.
Which is like, I mean, hey, you know, the point is that there are
protecting
nuances
Andor from
here.
Filoni was a life-saving decision.
Amazing.
But all right, I guess I'll just put it out there. I'm now not entirely clear on where the Goldman stands or stood on Kathleen Kennedy, but let's see where he takes this.
Kathleen Kennedy is a
Lucasfilm,
good guy.
this is probably the best chance at course correction we're gonna get in a long time. So this video is for Dave Filoni. I am
Huge approve.
convinced this is how you can save the brand.
Mm.
I am convinced this is how you
I
can
hate
have
his
every
fucking
fan
face.
salivating for the next project. So let's get into my plan to fix Star
Hey, man.
Wars. Now, I want to
Jeez.
establish a
Okay.
few ground rules before we get started. You see, this video is not going to be me retreading all of Kathleen Kennedy's
wearing his own
mistakes.
merch is-
I actually made a
I
video
don't
on that, so
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna back it up
Oh,
just a second.
damn.
establish a few ground rules before we get started. You see,
Hey,
this
plug
video
my
is
phone.
not going to be me retreading all of Kathleen Kennedy's mistakes. I actually made a video on that, so click the link above if you want to check it out. I'm also not going to
Oh, okay. So if we want to know his opinion on Kathleen, we just need to watch an entirely different video.
Separate video.
I
As
wasn't
if I'd
prepared for
ever
this.
do
Wonderful.
I'm just gonna assume that he has a normal, reasonable take on Kathleen Kennedy and go from there.
Why does he look like such a
Hmm.
shill? I'm sorry, he does. Like, look
Yeah,
at him.
given his general demeanor, I'm so excited to hear his takes on women.
Okay,
All right.
let's see.
be proposing any unrealistic ideas. Most of you are probably going to say, retcon the sequels, retcon the Acolyte, just keep
Yeah, for a
Rogue One
start,
and Andor,
yeah.
get rid of
I mean,
everything else.
yeah, that would be
I'm
a good
sorry.
start.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's actually the end right there. He already taught us how to fix Star Wars. We can stop the video now.
Wow.
We'll watch something
Yeah,
else.
there you go. all right,
Mission
stream over.
accomplished.
Now this is like the bell curve, right? He's going to explain why that super based sounding opinion is actually wrong and cringe,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna get to that ultimate conclusion by the end anyway, I'm sure.
Mass retconning is just not going to happen. Dave Filoni is not going to retcon
Well, okay, but like
Okay, but
Okay.
like it should. That's the thing.
the premise of this video is already confusing me a little bit because it's like this is how I would, if you asked me to like, sit in the office with Dave and work out how best to fix Star Wars, like this is what I'd do, and I'd honestly recommend just fucking wiping the slate clean, basically. And he's like, well, yeah, but like, let's be realistic here. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be realistic. We're talking hypothetically here. What, do you have a meeting with Dave Filoni on Saturday where you're going to go through all this? Like, no, run wild with it.
I mean, to be fair, Sheev, in your hypothetical, you've already done something that I wouldn't do. So, like, if we were sitting down with Dave Filoni, like, no, I'd fire Dave Filoni. It's the guy.
I'd
it's
shoot
the guy
him
I'm
out of a
replacing him with.
cannon.
I'm sitting down and be like, we're gonna I'm gonna burn his hat to make sure to free him of the mind control, and then I'm gonna send him to recuperative therapy, and then I will sit his replacement down and be like, we need to wreck on the sequels and all of the Mandoverse stuff.
Because the thing is, right, like, if he's trying to be like, I want to try to figure out how to fix Star Wars within the confines of, like, we're keeping everything that exists. I'm like, oh, you can't. That's the end of the video, actually, right there, is you can't do that.
Yeah, I think ideally just don't fix Star Wars. Just stop it altogether. Kill
Yeah,
it.
the best you could do,
Burn
yeah,
it
is just a
fire.
mercy killing.
It's
Not even a
actually,
mercy
kind
kill. I
of-
don't think it fucking deserves that. No. Just end it.
Yeah, there's actually this is kind of sorry to bring up anime this early in the stream, but there's actually an anime that kind of did that where they just deleted the entire original world. It's called JoJo. Sorry for spoilers to anyone in chat, but they just pretty much
Okay.
deleted the original world and just started anew. And I was like, we should just do that with Star Wars. Can we just like start
Low-key,
fresh?
Wow, Daigen's not even here, and somehow we managed to make it about JoJo.
Decent. Yeah.
Bagel's just channeling Daigen's
He's watching
spiritual
that.
energy.
Yeah, Daigen has possessed me for the stream.
I hope he
we're not
doesn't
talking about
possess you
JoJo.
with
We're
his
moving on.
chainsaw.
No,
man.
we're not talking about
Chainsaw Man, watch it, it's good.
Projects he worked on.
Not the ending,
and
though.
he's not going to retcon the sequel trilogy. Also, my plan is contingent on the fact that I'm put in the president's shoes today. A movie comes out in 2
you guys
months.
so
You think I'm
quiet?
gonna cancel it? No. This Star Wars Starfighter movie is currently under production. I'm not gonna cancel that either. We also have Ahsoka Season 2
Well, then what are
and
we
the
doing?
Darth
I just, you know, he's trying to like define this in the terms of like we're fixing Star Wars within the confines of what's realistically possible, assuming that I take control right now. And I'm like, well, you can't unless you just mass retcon, which you're not going to do. You just said you're not going to do. So this is kind of worthless.
What the? Bagel, someone just called JoJo bad in the chat.
We're not getting into a fucking JoJo
No, we're
discussion.
Not getting into
Oh.
JoJo.
Mall animated show that comes
So
out
that's
in like
offensive.
2 weeks. I'm not going to cancel any of these projects. It takes a few years to truly save a brand, so my plan is going to take that into consideration. Obviously, I'm going to propose some new movies and shows, and if I said, let's release this new movie in December of this year, that would be unrealistic. Star Wars movies can't be made that quickly. So now that I've established some ground rules for my plan to fix Star Wars, let's get into the meat potatoes of my plan.
The meat
Era
potatoes.
1
Meat-
is
meat.
the
The meat-
Mandoverse
the meat
era.
potatoes.
You see, Lucasfilm has clearly invested into the Mandoverse. If you're not familiar with this term, it's basically all the shows and now movies Lucasfilm has made that takes place around the time of The Mandalorian.
Okay,
We obviously
no.
have The Mandalorian itself, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and even Skeleton Crew. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie will obviously be a part of the Mandoverse. It's time to wrap up
Whoa.
the Mandoverse.
That was
Some
so
parts
cool.
of it were beloved and some parts weren't, but regardless, it's time to move on to a new era of Star Wars. It appears this era of Star Wars is going to culminate with some war or battle against Thrawn. So that's what we're going to
Whoa.
follow. Up
Star
first, we have
Wars.
the Mandalorian and Grogu, which
Well, but hang on. You're not abandoning the Mandoverse then. You're just doing more stories in the Mandoverse. Where you're just focusing on the war against Thrawn now. But that's the same thing. Because
I guess what he means is like we're keeping the canon of what's been established. We're just pivoting away from the characters in the other shows, and we're going to refocus on Thrawn.
but why? But like theoretically,
Yeah, I mean, that's question number one.
theoretically, if we're just deciding that like we're keeping the Mandalorian and everything else surrounding it as is, right? Theoretically, the idea is supposed to be that like we actually care about those guys and want to see how they ultimately bring down Thrawn, because we just watched the struggle, right, of like Ezra and Ahsoka and Sabine and all of them trying to stop him from escaping Peridia and just all these different things. Theoretically, assuming I actually was invested in any of those characters and them defeating Thrawn, why then would I want you to just pivot to new people going after Thrawn? Why would I want you to do that?
I mean, I guess the argument would be because anything's better than what we've been currently getting, and I kind of
Well,
see
I
that, but
agree,
also,
but also the only real fixing that is just getting rid of it. Just wipe it from the canon.
but he's already committed to not doing that. So
Uh-huh.
this is such a strange thing because like the reasons he gave for why he's not, it's like, oh, if you drop me in the president's shoes today, we can't cancel these upcoming projects that are already in the works. I'm like, well, as far as I know, Starfighter isn't really connecting to anything. It's kind of standing alone.
will
so that's
still
fine.
come out in
But
2
I-
months.
I would absolutely.
The tricky thing
cancel
about the
everything
Hannah,
else.
stop.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Sorry, what were you saying,
I
Jolly?
can't
That
hear
was just
him.
Hannah's way of. That was just Hannah's way of cutting me off, I guess.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go
I was
ahead.
like, shut the fuck up, Jolly. No one cares. What was I even saying now?
You were saying
Um,
he was saying that it's like you can't ask them to cancel all these upcoming projects and stuff because they're already well in the works. Or
Well, yeah, so
whatever.
like the thing is, like, I don't know why you can't do that. I mean, like for a start, we know from Warner Brothers' actions with the cancelled
Batgirl.
Batgirl movie, yeah, that you absolutely can just cancel these projects and write them off as like a tax rebate. So like, yeah, it'd be a very ruthless decision, but you could absolutely just cancel these upcoming projects. I mean, with the animated stuff, I would just cancel it just anyway because like, my God. Or alternatively, what you could just do is like just publicly say to fans like, yeah, we're going to release these things, but they're going to be part of like an alternate continuity, like the original Disney continuity, and we're now doing a new continuity. So these projects will still come out if you liked that continuity, but they're not going to be something canon going forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm saying is like, you can have any upcoming project that's like basically done, like obviously the new Mandalorian movie coming out, Ahsoka Season 2, Darth Maul, like all those things, might as well just release them since they're already made, right? And then at that point be like, and that is the end of this continuity, and it is going to be classified as like not canon going forward. Because like you know, I don't mind them just still existing, right, on like Disney Plus or whatever. You can be like, if you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan of the Ahsoka show, knock yourself out. You can watch it. It's the same thing they did with the EU, right? You can still read all those books. You can read the comics. You can watch the 2D animated Clone Wars show. You can do all those things. And no one's stopping you from doing that. It's just like it isn't designated as canon, and that's all you really have to do. And I don't see why that's such a taboo concept, other than that it seems mean, I guess, to the people who like them. But like, I don't care. Where this is what, you know, this is a video about how to fix Star Wars. It's going to take some kind of ruthless decision making right there. You know, you're not going to make everyone happy.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're in this franchise is in such a state that there's no action you can take that would like legitimately save it that isn't going to piss somebody off or upset somebody. Like, you're going to have to cause some collateral damage. You're going to have to break some eggs to make this omelet. There's just no way around it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone in chat earlier was like, "Oh, is there any way to fix the world building problems?" Yes, we saw that with Andor. They really made like some of the issues with Star Wars. I don't know if it makes sense in the larger context, but they really did fix a lot of the problems that the kind of intermediate time between the OT and the sequels had. Or sorry, yeah, like they fixed a lot of that. Sorry, the prequels and the OT, not the sequels.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, also, the reason Andor did so well is they just ignored a lot of the world-building problems that the Mandoverse introduced by being like, yeah, well, that came later, don't worry, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're not going to talk about
keyword-
tracking fobs.
The thing
we're not going
is-
to talk about how the Force is a person.
The thing is, right,
Most keyword their EU projects would be nice to have back. Sheev, what are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, what? I was going to make a different
Someone
point.
in chat said. Oh no, someone in chat said that most EU projects would be nice to have back, and I know that you're a big fan of the EU, so.
What do you mean by have
What are your
back? Like,
takes?
you mean within Disney canon? Because fuck no. But or do you
No,
mean I
I
just want
don't
them to be
agree with
made
that.
like more of them? Because I don't want to get into a whole diatribe about the EU, but the truth that a lot of EU
Sorry.
fans need to get to like wrap their heads around is that it was already kind of deteriorating in a lot of areas. Like, you know, like the main timeline events of like, you know, the stories of Luke, Han, and Leia post like New Jedi Order weren't very good, and they were actively damaging the characters and the story and the narrative and the world and all of that. So it kind of needed to be stopped. That isn't to say that there aren't EU stories like in other parts of the timeline or whatever that I would have liked to see have a continuation of some sort, but like the mainline stuff needed to end. So like, I don't know that I'd even advocate for like print more EU. I don't want to see what happens after like fucking Fate of the Jedi and Crucible. I don't want to see any of that shit. It was bad. But anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there. Because, like, you know, sticking to what Goldman is saying here, I would even kind of agree with him on the, you know, if we're accepting the whole, like, you know, we're keeping everything as canon, right? And going forward, we're going to focus on the war against Thrawn. I would even agree with him as long as he is positioning this such that, like, the people that are actually supposed to be dealing with the threat, the Thrawn threat, is, like, the OT characters, right? We recast Luke, Han, and Leia, and we actually, like, do that story properly, because, you know, the big complaint that we had watching Ahsoka was, where the fuck is Luke? Where are Han and Leia? Where's Chewie? Where are all the OT characters? Why are they not actively getting involved in this storyline? So, like, yeah, if you want to be like, well, you know, it's worth continuing the Thrawn war story, but on the basis of it's like, you know, the OT characters going after him, then, like, fine, I agree with that generally speaking. I do, however, think that that, you know, we already have that story in the EU, and it's a pretty good one. So just go read that. Stop making these fucking shows. I don't know.
But money.
Culminate with some war or battle against Thrawn. So that's what we're gonna follow. Up first, we have The Mandalorian and Grogu, which will still come out in 2 months. The tricky thing about The Mandalorian and Grogu is that I don't really know what kind of movie it is. Is it gonna be some random one-off adventure featuring The Mandalorian and Grogu? Or will it be a story that ties into the larger conflict of the era? You see? I don't know. The movie hasn't come out yet. If the movie...
Well, also because the marketing has been extremely vague and stupid, but also, like, the thing about The Mandalorian that you have to understand is that everything is both of those things that you just said. It is simultaneously a one-off misadventure with barely any connective tissue and nothing really going for it, and also make sure to tie into literally everything else from the saga. That's just what Mandalorian has been for 3 seasons now, so it'll be both. You don't have to speculate, it'll be both. You know this.
Also, like, I don't know why he's acting like he doesn't know what movie it's gonna be like when like we all know it's gonna be terrible. Like, please be real. Like,
Well, not even like terrible, just like narratively. I understand what he's saying about like the narrative structure of the movie, but we can kind of guess based on what the other Mandalorian projects have been. It's going to be a lot of fan service. It's going to be a lot of, milling around doing fucking nothing,
meandering,
So,
wasting
yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
side quests to go pick up milk from the grocery store.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not. Everyone's expecting, you can sit here and be like, oh yeah, what's the movie's plot going to be? Like, oh, is it going to be ties? Like, no, the movie's plot is just going to be 3 episodes of The Mandalorian strung together. That's just what it's going to be.
Well, this is
Yeah, it's
actually
probably-
a pretty like spiritual successor to the Clone Wars movie in every way. It's a theatrical Dave Filoni project. It is literally just episodes of the TV show. It's a spin-off of like strung together, and it's about Rod of the Hutt being like kidnapped or otherwise like harm intended against him with the main characters trying to protect. It's just the Clone Wars movie too, and that's gonna be great. And I can't wait to watch it and do my video on it. It's gonna be fucking hilarious. But like,
I can't wait for Ahsoka to turn up for a 1-minute cameo to be like, Stinky, you look more beautiful every day since I left you.
You're all
Ahsoka
grown up
showed
now.
up,
And then he goes, I need fucking hands.
Like Ross is gonna be like you've grown, and like you've grown. And he's like, so have you. We've grown more beautiful. I mean,
my brother's an addict. My brother was an addict.
Is just a spin-off story. I guess it's too late to change it, but Lucasfilm still has 2 months before the movie's release. Go film a post-credit scene that teases the upcoming battle over with Thrawn. Post-credit scenes are
The solution is to just do Marvel schlock.
we don't need this.
Yeah.
Please stop. We don't need it.
No.
The
more
solution is to
post-credit
just tack on a fucking Marvel-esque post-credit scene to this fucking movie to try to tease some big sequel in the future. Oh my god.
moratorium
Also, ew, I
on
forgot how
post-credit
ugly
scenes. I'm
this
so
thing
tired of post-credit scenes.
Who fucking designed this like ring Star Destroyer thing and thought this actually looked good? Like, ugh, I hate it.
the design of it is the least offensive aspect of this fucking thing.
But like, even from a glance, I
It's what-
despise it.
This the world building implications of that ring are what you should really be upset about.
I mean, I can be upset about both.
I remember when the show came out
True.
and Jolly's brain was broken, just like doing the math about how all this would.
Yeah, I was like doing like the calculations at like 4 a.m. sending them to she, being like, I have been doing the maths on how fast this fucking thing would have to be going through hyperspace to get to another galaxy, and it's breaking my brain.
Ludicrous speed is the answer.
It is literally just ludicrous speed from Spaceballs.
Yeah, someone in chat said the MCU has morphed people's expectations of movies. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah,
but it
that's-
was.
It's so bad.
That's kind of what
post-credit scene in every movie.
that's kind of what we're lamenting about here, which is that like this is just kind of seen as the norm now. This like let's just take this movie that's presumably supposed to be one thing and then just kind of change it at the literal 11th hour with 2 months to release to be like, now it's actually sequel bait because fuck you. Because that's what all these fucking movies are.
That's what they did with Captain America: Brave New World. Like they had to change the entire movie in like a month or something like that because they realized it was not good, basically, and they had to cut
Another
out
50
Bucky's
trillion
storyline.
to Israel. Woo.
Have you seen that interview with what's her face? Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
Talking about like the characterization of Wanda between Multiverse of Madness and at the end of WandaVision, and she's like, I had absolutely no idea what my character was supposed to be because like I thought WandaVerse ended in like a positive way, and then I got the Multiverse of Madness script, and I'm a villain, and I had no idea what was going on.
Hey, you know what, Elizabeth? I'm right there with you. The movie was confusing as fuck.
enough to get fans excited about the future of the brand. It could straight up just be a scene from Ahsoka Season 2. Anything to give the fans a tease of what's to come. Now, if this movie...
You know how, like, in the Fantastic Four movie that came out last year, they just filmed, like, an Avengers teaser with, like, Doctor Doom, and they actually filmed that on the set of, like, Avengers Doomsday or whatever? Or I think that was Thunderbolts. That was Thunderbolts that did, like, on the set of Avengers Doomsday, they did a post-credit scene for Thunderbolts that was teasing, like, the Fantastic Four arriving in the Marvel, like, mainline universe.
Oh, I have another person here. Yippee.
Okay, man.
Oh, sounds what? Oh, fuck you too.
Yeah, you sounded genuinely displeased about this. I'm confused.
I wasn't actually. I didn't even mean to sound like that. I was just like, ooh, okay.
Did the video
You
just get started over?
Canadian.
Huh? Yeah, someone started the video over again. Was that
It's
you,
okay.
Bagel?
We'll
Sorry,
start.
my
Don't look at
mistake.
me. It wasn't.
Why am I blaming the
Season
women?
two.
for
Hang
this?
on,
Still
hang on.
quite a long
Mistake.
time, but it's something I'm sure the first
Yeah, what do
season
you mean by
surprises. What I
that?
will say is that season 2 will not be the last season. Oh, fans are excited about
Okay,
it.
I skipped
Mandoverse
too far
needs
ahead.
this
Trying to find the fucking place we were
on
at.
to a new era of Star Wars. It appears this era of Star Wars is going to culminate. I guess it's too late to change it, but Lucasfilm
No, a little further.
still had it. It could straight up just be a scene from Ahsoka season
This is
2.
where we're at.
There we are. Yep. That actually might have been me. I think whenever I open Streamlabs and then close it back down to Firefox, where I have the Watch Together open, it just decides to jump back to the beginning of the video.
I'll just keep an eye on how far into the video
Oh.
we are in case that happens.
No, it
again.
wasn't me because I just did that and it didn't work. It didn't happen that time.
Why is my face cut off on the stream?
Because I'm
now?
trying to fucking fix it. That's why that happened.
Oh,
I didn't know how many people were going to join because honestly, guys, I was telling everyone that we were doing a stream today, and then like 20 minutes out, everyone was like, "Oh, we're doing one today." So I didn't know who all was going to be here, and I'm
I
very
did kind of forget. Yeah,
disappointed.
luckily
Kind of,
I could join.
while TK kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet. Anywho, oh, by the way, just because we already been going for a little bit and people might have joined since, the actual reason we're doing this stream is to help out a good friend of mine who's got a GoFundMe, which is linked in the description and pinned to the top of the live chat here. So please donate if you can, and if you can't, please share it around to whoever you think might be able to help. I care about this guy a lot, and I care about the dog that is currently going through serious medical issues that he's trying to save. So, you know,
I don't
please.
care about the guy, but the dog's cute.
Yeah, you know, the guy can go fuck himself. He may be on the stream later, but I told him that like this isn't really his style, unlike the rival stream that we tried to do. So like he's not like obligated to be here, but he might show up later.
Anything to give the fans a tease
Sorry.
of what's to come. Now, if this movie
before we
does
continue,
tie
can we
into the
just,
larger
Yes, sorry.
So what have I missed?
Well, he did recently, like, okay, so the ground rules that he laid out were as follows. We're not going to erase anything from canon or do any big retcons. We're going to just
So we're
assume
fucked.
that it's already
can't
just a
fix
broken
it.
premise. But, like, we're not doing any of that. We're just going to assume that he assumes the role as president right now, today, and allows all the, you know, upcoming content that's coming, you know, like the Maul show and the Ahsoka
Wait, he's the
season 2.
president? I mean, I don't like the gold man, but I will vote for him in a heartbeat over who you have right now.
I would hold off on that because so his big plan so far is let the Mandalorian and Grogu come out, but tack on a post-credit scene that teases a big like Avengers style War with Thrawn movie or whatever. And that's where we just got to by the time you
I
joined.
mean, I was talking about voting for him as like president, as in US president, as Lucasfilm, not as an artistic creative. No, please don't.
God no.
conflict with Thrawn. Great! That's exactly what this franchise needs. Momentum. The reason the 2 years between The Force
Why are there two big farts in the fucking Watch Together group now?
This is
Well,
getting out of hand.
Hannah was-
No, there are
Hannah
two of them.
Hannah was having problems and she couldn't. She could not get her computer to work. So
Oh. Okay.
Awakens and The
I'm on
Last
my
Jedi
phone
was such a
right now,
fun
so
time to be a Star
it's-
Wars
it's
fan was
pretty
because there was momentum. People wanted to know what was going to happen next, and they speculated about it. The Mandoverse needs this desperately, so the Mandalorian and Grogu must tie into Thrawn because Thrawn is the endgame of this story.
This is such a sad way to think about art and creativity. The only reason people cared about the sequel
Marvel
trilogy is because there was stuff to like speculate about and like future projects. This is Marvel brain. This is literally a conditioning of like the MCU for the last like 15 years. You know?
yeah.
Well, this is that meme of like, you know, product only exists to get you excited for the next product.
Yeah, like okay. When The Force Awakens came out and I was 14 years old, I actually rated it pretty highly and I was really excited for the next movie.
Same.
And it was
Dumb
really
Yeah, 'cause you were a
fun.
fucking idiot.
Because I was a dumb fucking chungus. Anyway, it was really fun to speculate about, you know, what's going to come next, you know, what Snoke theories might be true, blah, 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 blah. That was all great, and I enjoyed being part of that. But the reason I was excited for The Last Jedi is because I thought the previous movie was pretty good, and I expected the next one to also be pretty good.
I mean,
I was
a
excited for it
recent
because I
example-
wanted a good movie, not because I wanted fucking Pleeblar Klobzo to come in and say, hey guys, I'm Pleeblar Klobzo and I'm here to kill Snoke.
A recent
also-
example is we were speculating Andor. We all excited for Andor season 2 because we actually liked
Yeah.
Andor and we wanted the next season to be good. So we speculated about what they're going to do next.
Yeah, it's
and
like
what they should do
I
next.
wonder how he would account for the fact that the most talked about and speculated about show that we've gotten from like anything from Star Wars in the last like 7 years at this point has been the one that's unanimously agreed upon basically to be like the best thing ever, you know? I wonder why that is, even though it doesn't have all these different things to speculate about in terms of like, you know, what's the big next thing, you know, with Thrawn or whatever.
Well, it's also
The
kind of like
comparison. Oh, sorry.
it's like a
Benny.
business. Oh no, I was gonna say it's kind of like a corporate mindset where it's like, all right, we got to have the next big merger, we got to have the next big sale, we got to have the next big thing. And the thing is with art is that art should exist for art's sake. We don't need to be
Mhm.
waiting for the next big Avengers movie. We can just it was kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was the least bad thing Marvel has put out in the past 5 years, is because it actually had an ending. It was the end of a story. And I wish that Star Wars knew that stories could end.
Speaking
Well,
of which,
the
I take
comparison-
offense to him like calling the Mandoverse a story for obvious reasons.
Sorry, what, Jolly?
The comparison I think that I was going to make, that, you know, based on you being like, you know, when in years gone by, when we enjoyed a movie and we were speculating about the next one, it was because we were excited to see the next one, not because we were like checking off a list of like things that we wanted to see crop up as cameos. There's a weird thing now where fans treat artistic IPs as though it's a fantasy football team. You know, they're like, oh, what score am I going to get next week when the games all come out? Like, there's nothing there that's like, I actually enjoy the game. I actually just like, I have an investment in like the strategies that get put in on the field and the way that these players are coached. Like, there's none of that passion for it. It's just, can I rack up the numbers on my monkey brain spreadsheet? Was I correct about it? And that's it. And it's a really soulless way to engage with art.
Yeah.
Someone in chat said, does Star Wars ever top Andor? No, but Bix does.
That was
Okay.
Sophie. Good job.
That was a good one.
I am so
Someone said
funny.
Someone said Mandoverse is more like a children's playset. Yeah, literally, because it's at this point essentially just made to sell toys. Like, that's all.
Well, that's
fucking
also that's
Grogu
literally
exists
how
for.
Dave Filoni describes both him and John Favreau. That's how they describe
Mhm.
their roles, right? It's like, oh, we get to put our hands in the toy box all the time.
Have some vision and passion for your creative projects.
You have paid the price for your lack of vision.
The thing is, even if he doesn't necessarily recognize it, like, Dave Filoni also sees that, like, a lot of the people who clamor for more of his stuff are the kind of people that are, like, that are conditioned to want the next, like, you know, the next fix, basically, of, like, you know, fantasy football, like Jolly said, like, you know, like, the next thing to play with. Because, like, there's a video I remember seeing of him basically being like, you know, I take out the Thrawn toy, and then I set it up on the table, and everyone wants me to, play, you know, do something with the Thrawn toy, and I tell them, okay, well, you're gonna have to wait on the Thrawn toy while I, you know, and I pull out this toy. Like, he knows that they just want him to play with the Thrawn toy. He knows, like, what his audience expects from him. He knows that they don't expect anything artistically meaningful. So I don't even know if it's necessarily just that he himself is incapable of thinking in this way, and more just that it maybe even is a mixture of like that, and he knows that he doesn't have to. You know what I mean?
Well, so
Yeah.
we joked at the beginning about like how, you know, if you really wanted to fix Star Wars, you have to fire Dave Filoni, and we were saying it, you know, tongue in cheek as a joke, haha, because we think he's a bad like studio head. But there is a grain of truth there, which is like the reason why we have an audience of a Star Wars audience that just fundamentally refuse to grow up in terms of like how they engage with art and refuse to add any kind of depth to how they engage with art is because we have quote unquote artists who've never grown up either. Like, until we get grown up artists in the room making art by grown ups, not necessarily for grown ups, but just with a grown up sense of like scale and depth and meaning and self control. Until that happens, we're just going to be stuck in this perpetual doom loop of I'm going to play with my toys, and everyone being like, "Yay, play with the toys!" And it's so infuriating.
Yeah,
The-
that's also
the
kind of
jolly
an issue
doomer.
I had with that's actually kind of an issue I also had with Stranger Things, where it was like, oh yeah, we can just keep putting them in new situations and having just random shit happen, and I was frustrated because I wanted to be told a coherent story with, you know, stakes and depth, but it was just them saying, okay, let's put them in this huge monster situation, this huge situation, and it was just very incoherent. And that's kind of, I think, what Star Wars is also doing at this point.
But what's actually cool is the big monster. Like, that's what everyone
yeah.
cares about.
Big monster.
I worry about demo fatigue.
Ugh. The pain. I'm 3 hours into my fucking Stranger Things video now. It's coming along. It's almost done. It should maybe be out by next month. I hope. I pray. I beg.
Woo!
Sheev, do you remember the season 3 of Doctor Who, right? When they go to that planet where there's people who just sell moods out of like vans.
Yep.
And the comment I had for you then, which I still think is true, but it's like, that is just Disney now, right? Like, that is just these large media corporations. They're not interested in selling you a vision of anything. They're not interested in selling you like anything that has any kind of coherency or depth to it. It's just, hey, do you want to be angry? Do you want to be happy for 5 seconds? Do you want to see the sparkly lights? There you go. There's your patch. Have your happy pill. And, you know, then we have Dave Filoni as just the guy in the back mixing up the happy pills with a big stupid grin on his face, and the audience is just a bunch of gormless fools.
The stupid grin on his face in the thumbnail.
Yeah, literally. Like, I know I sound like a real asshole right now, but like, just my ability to tolerate this horseshit has been so diminished over the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, and it's also just kind of like the inshitification of everything around us comes to art as well, when it starts to be seen as a product, not an art form. Like, we have these TV shows where it's just made to sell, like made to sell. Stranger Things 5 is a great example. Pretty much every recent Star Wars product where it's just made to elicit reactions and not to exist as the art itself. I think Andor is possibly the only exception to that, but yeah, it's just dire.
Yeah. And this is why the Goldman's video, wherever he goes from here on out, is going to be a disastrous fail, because he is approaching it like Bagel hit it right on the head. Right, he's approaching it like he's a business exec, right? Like, oh, how do we sell the next product? How do we get people to come back and buy more thing? And that's just fundamentally the wrong perspective.
Well, not only is it the wrong
Talking
perspective,
about how to fix something artistically.
not only is it the wrong perspective, it's what got us into this mess in the first place.
Yeah.
100%.
So give fans a reason to be motivated to find out what happens next. Later this year, Ahsoka Season 2 will come out. Since Season 1 was directly related to Thrawn, we don't need to worry about this show not giving the franchise momentum. Let's just hope it's much better than Season 1, and then fans can get really excited for
What do you mean hope? You can't... I'm not going to get into it.
Let's just hope.
Let's just hope.
I think it's just code.
I'm the president of Lucasfilm, and I'm going to hope that this project is good.
In my position as the
Manifest
president of this
it's good.
company, I'm going to sit on my ass and like try and vibe good shit into
He
existence.
just goes to Dave Filoni. It's just like, please, 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 please.
Please tell me you're cooking with this one, Dave, because I just can't.
He is aware, right, that the president has actual power to like to change things.
No, what the president of Lucasfilm is there for is to gather a bunch of creatives into a room and go, you make this project, you make this project, you make this project. I am not allowed to intervene or even see what you're doing until it, gets put on Disney Plus. So I am crossing my fucking fingers that you guys will do what you're supposed to do here.
It's not like you're the guy who reads the shit and just goes, yes, no. Like it's not like that's your job or anything. Oh wait.
Filling a hole like this is not rocket science.
I want to talk about actually fixing these shows, right? Like, if we're committed to keeping this, everything that it currently exists as canon, which is already, like, doomed to fail. But if we're committing to that and we're saying, and we're going to go forward with these new projects, you should start to be implementing things like, I don't know, show Bibles, or, like, actual creatives who give a fuck about, like, narrative and character writing and actual storytelling, Where's any of this? Why are we just hoping Season 2 of Ahsoka is gonna be good?
Nah, bro. Our secret coward George didn't plan shit, and it turned out great. Why should we?
It's just weird. It's like, why? I've seen Ahsoka Season 1, and it is terrible. So hopefully Season 2 will be like, why would you think that? What could possibly lead you to think that?
Yeah, someone in chat said corporate slavery is built on hope. That is true, and exactly that is the thesis statement of Lucasfilm. That is the thesis statement of Star Wars fans.
Yeah, we're all the Wookiees in the content mines of Castle at this point.
Yeah.
What's to come. What I will say is that Season 2 will not be the last season of the show. Season 3 will be the last season of the show.
Why would you do this?
By the way, This is just what I would do if I was president of Lucasfilm. Unless, of course, season 2 ends on, like, a conclusive part of the story. By the time season 2 comes...
This just feels inherently contradictory because he's being like, you know, I would respect its artistic decision to end in a conclusive manner because, you know, that's what, you know, shows should do. And I'm like, okay, now respect that for Star Wars. Like, why would you choose to prolong Ahsoka seasons? Why would you choose to make a third one?
Exactly. Dude, I don't know if it... You know what? I might watch season 2 just because season 1 was hilariously painful just for the sake of it.
It'll be
This is coming
great.
from me, keep in mind. So this
I
is saying
might.
extra, but you're a fucking masochist.
So if you, this whole video is predicated on the idea of him being the one in charge of Lucasfilm, but he's like, well, I'm just gonna hope it's good, brother. You're the one making the show. You're the one making it in this scenario. What
like,
you're gonna hope?
Yeah,
He
even
thinks his
if you want to
job
accept his
as-
ground rule of like, I can't change anything that's already coming out. It's like, okay, but Ahsoka season 3 isn't even in production yet, and you're just gonna let that happen?
Well,
Why?
I guess what he's doing is like, yeah, so season 1 was bad. Hopefully, and I have no control over this as the boss of the company, but hopefully season 2 will be better. And then, for no reason at all, we're gonna make a third season, and we're gonna make sure to get that one right.
No reason.
Or
Yeah,
Third
well,
time's the charm, boys.
Yeah, and it's kind of the mindset that a lot of people have with regard to bad shows, where they say, "Oh, well, maybe this next season will be good." What possibly leads you to
Season
think
2.
that? Like, yeah,
No,
it's
no,
all going to be
no.
fixed in
No,
season
no.
2.
Martin Scorsese image. That's all I have to say. Season 2.
Yeah, fandoms are built on cope.
Yes.
Yeah, this is true.
out, it would have come out 3 years after season 1. That's just unacceptable. So in my plan, season 3 will come out only 2 years after season 2.
I'm afraid you
Why?
can't
See,
exactly-
3 years
Why?
between seasons is unacceptable. So my fix is we're gonna do 2 years between seasons.
You have less time to write this shit.
Oh boy.
We're going to crunch the artists even harder and force them to work like 6 more hours
Here's-
per day.
Here's the thing, Goldman. So here's the thing. You're the president of Lucasfilm. You don't control the entire film industry. The reason why television shows take fucking forever to get made now is because, simply put, the productions just can't afford to go quicker. They just don't have the time and resources because probably Johnny could explain it better.
Well,
but
I mean, a whole myriad of reasons, but one of the big ones being like a lot of TV shows now are quote unquote trying to be prestige TV, which have like big name actors, and those guys have busy schedules, right? They're not going to sit
Invincible.
around, every year for you. You know, when they got other projects in the pipeline.
Yeah, and
basically,
C
for a whole
is,
myriad of reasons, a lot of productions just cannot afford to do like yearly releases.
Well, you know
now.
what's
It's
interesting about that,
it's
right?
not
Is that like
feasible.
Star Wars was built on like the idea of like no-name actors, basically. Like, you know, George didn't want people that like would be recognized to be in his original movies. What if you just went back to that
Even in the
basic idea, right? Yeah, even in the prequels. What if you just went back to that basic idea and you were like, okay, let's just hire a bunch of nobodies, give them a shot at the big leagues, you know? And then we don't have to worry about
You know,
big
like
actors
some
like fucking
TV
Tom
show.
Cruise or some shit. Or Ryan Gosling.
yeah.
If only there was a recent Star Wars TV show that had that philosophy that had been excellent that we could learn from.
No.
yeah. And also, so my
Book of
sister
Boba
works
Fett.
kind of in that. My sister works kind of in the industry, and she also has been telling me that with a lot of the new like kind of regulations and the way things are done post COVID in Hollywood, it is really fucking hard for anything to get done with all the red tape that they need to get through. Like especially with like it's just things are different than they used to be, and it's a lot harder to produce TV all around than it was like 20 years ago. So yeah, just not a realistic ask, Mr. Goldman.
Yeah.
Still quite a long time, but it's something I'm sure the crew could work with. So season 3 would release in August or fall of 2028. But before we get there, we still have to talk about 2027. 2027 is going to be the year of Star Wars Starfighter. Unless there's something already secretly in development, unfortunately, there's just not enough time to make another major Star Wars project in time for 2027. Like, maybe you could release something in the winter of 2027, but the last thing we need right now is more rushed Star Wars stories.
Well, also, there's no reason that you need to have
Oh, like
two
a
fucking
franchise
Star
action?
Wars movies in the same year.
Just said, yeah.
But
It's
also,
shorter
yeah.
production times. Yeah.
We're gonna cut production times because the 3-year gap is unacceptable. Anyway, we don't want to rush these things, man.
Yeah.
Better yet, how about you just not make
It turned
them?
out great for Marvel.
God. But yeah, also like he seems to like really want this idea of like 2 Star Wars movies in the same year, and I'm like, why are you advocating for that?
Because slop, that's why.
Who knows?
Money.
I mean, like, to try and steal
love
man
money.
him as much as I can, right? I guess there's like technically the difference between like, oh, we want gaps between movies. Like, we don't want to shove movies out every year because yeah, that is wearing as hell. But with TV shows, you know, the waiting 2 or 3 years between your seasons of a show you're already invested in is very annoying. And I'm like, well, first of all, I mean, people just need to learn to be invested in more than one TV show at once so that you have something to watch in the years you're waiting for the other thing you like to come out. You know, just expand your tastes maybe. But even if we're gonna just like skate past that, you know, if you want this timeline that he's suggesting, you're gonna have to accept the trade-off of the TV shows are gonna have to be like smaller budgeted. They're gonna have to be more focused. They're gonna have to be like, you know, much less connected to the main going on, and that might even be a good thing, right? I'm
That
not
would
saying
be
that's
a
a
good
bad thing.
thing.
That might well end up with better TV. Yeah, but like that's the trade-off you're gonna have to accept. So all the people being like, oh, you know, the reason we didn't get a good Kenobi show is they just didn't give it the resources, and like no, you're not gonna be able to get that. Like you're not gonna be able to afford to get Ewan McGregor back in this in this kind of understanding of how you want to do the TV shows. You're not gonna be able to afford him.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, right, you know, if I'm committed to making like a Kenobi show, right, and an actual good one, and I want Ewan McGregor, I'm happy for like, you know, there's like one big Star Wars project that's always in the works at some point with all these little, you know, these little smaller budget ones, like kind of in the, you know, in the works at the same time, right, as contemporaries. So like I'd be like, this is the one where we're gonna give it a bigger budget so we can get people like Ewan and Hayden and all them and blah 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 blah, or not Hayden because I don't want him to be in the show, but you get the general idea. This can be the one that has actual like big actors and stuff, and these other shows around it will just have to be smaller scale, smaller scope, smaller budget, you know, all these things. But it's also like, again, I just don't know. The thing is, a fun thing that you could actually do, right? You know, after wiping the slate clean and getting rid of all the stuff that doesn't work, just do more animated stuff. Do some 2D animation, do some 3D animation with different fucking animation style than the Clone Wars, for the love of Christ. Do that. I'm not saying that that's like cheaper or easier or anything necessarily, but it is also like something that can be done with a much smaller crew, you know. You could do it, you can do it without having to expend a bountiful amount of resources and find like locations to shoot on and all, because you're just animating it, you know. And that comes with its own hurdles, but like, and also you can get like actual voice actors and not like big celebrities like Chris fucking Pratt to voice characters for no reason. You know what I mean?
Chris Pratt is actually the best voice actor of all time, Sheev. I
True.
take offense to that statement.
Bagel, I'm gonna kill you. Just it's just gonna happen.
The
No,
Bagalopolis.
yeah, Bagel, I'm going to kill you. How dare you just limit him to a voice actor? He's a great actor.
Yes,
Have you
his
seen the
talent extended
Tomorrow
all the
War?
whole industry.
The Tomorrow War is peak, brother. Peak.
Sheev
We
kind
could
on
get
that point,
Tartakovsky back
yeah.
just to get back on the
Sorry.
Star Wars thing. Like, you know, we could get Tartakovsky and his style of animation back. That would be cool. A lot of fans
Yeah.
would be receptive to that, I think.
I'd be very
Yeah.
receptive to that.
Well, I know he made Samurai Jack season 5. What was it, like 10 years ago? He's probably due for another project at this point. So
Well, he has
Yeah,
he has
I,
another project in the works, and it looks really bad. But you know, we'll see.
What?
well, yeah. Kind of to your point about voice actors. Yeah, it actually, the thing is with hiring real actors, like not quote unquote
What do you
real
mean,
actors,
real actors?
in-person actors as voice actors, is that unfortunately a lot of the time they're not trained in the same.
Well, yeah,
like,
that's
kind
what
of
I mean.
expressions. Yeah,
You hire
yeah,
voice
and
actors, and they're typically cheaper and will do a better job. And like the only thing you're
Yep.
sacrificing is we don't get to put this big name on a poster and be like, yeah, look who's going to be in our show.
Counterpoint. Let's
Yeah.
get Peter Dinklage to voice everyone.
Oh my
As we all know,
God.
he's a great voice actor. Excellent.
I love how
Yeah,
he didn't even
like-
come back for Wicked for Good, because like the goat is in that movie and is given the ability to speak back. That's like a major part of the plot of the movie, and he just doesn't, because Peter Dinklage just would not come back for that movie, and that's so funny to me.
Yeah,
Also, that's like the first place thing he's done in eons.
yeah. And the thing is with voice acting specifically is it's such a, I don't know, it's say an easy industry to get into, but it's definitely one of like the ones that are more accessible to your everyday person. And I think that we should be giving more jobs to your everyday person, you know? We shouldn't just be hiring Chris Pratt and Jack Black and like everyone like all the famous celebrities for all of the major voice acting roles.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening in chat right now. There was a guy there who I think's been booted, who was like accusing me of racism, and now there's just like a bunch of memeing of it in the chat where people were like, "The Jolly Chap came to my house and forced me to watch Ahsoka season 5." Jolly Chap says he hates fat people.
The Jolly Chap hates fat people. He said, "I'm a big lard boy and touched my belly." You know what? That's honestly, Jolly. That's
know,
really not very nice of you.
You know, I'll fucking do it again. You can't stop me. No one can stop me. I'm on governor.
Jolly right now is look at me in my fat camp that he abducted and took me to. Just watch me do the push-ups.
You know
just cracking the whip.
You know what's funny is I'm gonna be in your neighborhood pretty soon, Sam.
Jolly actually
shit.
has.
Wait.
Has me chained to the radiator in their basement and is forcing me to be on this stream.
Yeah.
Jolly came to my house and forced me to write an essay about why Daredevil Born Again season 2 is good.
That's what they're referencing. It was the fucking BAFTA controversy stuff. Yeah, because I definitely said racist things. That's definitely what happened. Yeah, you can check. That's definitely what I said. What a very literate take. My goodness.
Yeah, John, you were just out of control, man. What were you doing?
Yeah, I'm just a terrible human being.
This is a terrible mistake. You've gone too far. This is bad.
I'm full of ethnic rage and hate. That's just me to a T.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any non-imp person must be killed. You know, we will only allow imps with bowler hats to survive.
So I'm looking at this Goldman video. He has a string on his shirt, and it's pissing me the fuck off. Take it off your shirt.
String. The string's alright.
Is that what that is?
I think it's like a string. Man, can you at least make sure your shirt is clean before you film a video? Like, how hard is it to?
I approve of the string. It's quirky.
I think you should die.
I like the Lego Wally. That's the thing I like.
I like the slightly off-center Master Chief head.
I like how the fact his I don't know if this is the camera or actually like how his home is designed, but like his pictures don't seem to be like properly aligned. Like some of them are at slight angles.
Yeah, everything about this image is annoying the shit out of
me. Everything, the cream wallpaper of his house, the exact tone of green on the Master Chief helmet, just everything.
Yeah, the piss yellow on his shirt, man, just everything. It's so bad.
Yeah, I like the cream wallpaper. I have a cream wallpaper. Fuck you.
Well,
I like
in the current
cream.
screenshot, he looks like he's about to like mansplain cryptocurrency to me. Like I hate him. He looks like he comes up to me in a bar and is like, actually, you don't know how economics works, bitch.
Jolly will know who this character is, but you know the character Ogilvy in The Pit season 2.
Yeah.
So like I really did not like that character at first. I promise this is related to what Bagel just said. I really did not like that character at first. And when I was watching the show with my girlfriend, I did like an Ogilvy, not even like an accurate impression of him, but just like a disdainful one because I fucking hated that little chud. Where basically it was like I was doing an impression of him explaining to a woman that her husband had died on his watch. That like, you know, like, and I said, your husband is deceased. Do you know what that means? And I said it in the most like Ben Shapiro-esque voice, and like it genuinely gave my girlfriend the ick, and she did not like that at all.
I'm sorry she didn't dump you right there.
And now we reference that constantly because that's hilarious.
All right, let's get on and see how Goldman is going to fix the thing he's refusing to fix.
So for 2027, release Star Wars Starfighter, and let's hope it's great.
Because again, we're hoping.
Not, we're kind of screwed. Now, the interesting thing about
if it's not okay, I want to know what he means by that though, right? Because it's like, oh, you know, if Star Wars Starfighter is bad, that's the breaking point. It's like, what do you mean? What about the last 8 years? What about the last 10 years? You know, what do you fucking mean?
Starfighter is that it takes place roughly during the time of the sequel trilogy, 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker to be specific. I think what Lucasfilm is doing with this movie is actually quite smart. Anything related to the sequels is not going to be met with much excitement. It's just not. Hard launching a Rey movie is a disastrous idea. Lucasfilm also clearly doesn't want to abandon this period of the timeline. There are a lot of potentially interesting stories to tell here, especially if they have nothing to do with the sequel trilogy characters. So
Well, hang on. What do you mean by this? Like, when you say potentially interesting story, and I don't mean like a story that would be potentially interesting no matter which time period it was set in the Star Wars universe. I mean, what stories that would have to be set in the sequel period and beyond are potentially interesting? Like, what are we following up on that people actually have any investment in or desire to see more of? Like, I legitimately can't think of a single one.
I'm pretty sure the Goldman is like pretty positive about the sequels overall. Which is, again, why I was surprised to find out he apparently wasn't a big fan of Kathleen Kennedy, but, you know. I think he has a cloud, like, do you know that Glup Shido, the slug with no arms in Rise of Skywalker? I think he has a cardboard cutout of that guy in his room. He's had it as
slug.
Yeah, he's had it as
Love
set
him.
dressing in past
Yes.
videos.
I'm sorry, why is this slug homophobic?
Oh, it's because right after that scene, it's the scene with the two women kissing, and it looks like he's just like glaring at them.
It looks like he's
Totally
looking at them in
calls
disgust. Well,
We have a super chat from
oh wait, hang on. I'm not.
Reginald Street.
I've
Oh,
gotten
okay.
a couple super chats. I'm holding off for the moment. I'm gonna read them off in
Alright.
bulk.
Alright.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is where the live X character reaction meme comes from. Is originally it was Claude
Oh,
from
yeah.
the Rise of Live Slug reaction, him watching a couple of women kiss, which I
My
think is
favorite.
I feel like we need to start editing him into every single. You know, whenever we have the right wing like Griffosphere expressing their disgust about like a quote unquote woke moment in a film, we just edit the slug in, just looking at it like get that kiss in Lightyear. The slug is there.
I'm gonna have Southpaw put that into the Lightyear reaction that we recorded yesterday.
we just have like Claude in the background like screaming like how he does when they're about to go into hyperspace.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm needs to do is warm fans up to the idea of having stories in this time period again. And that's what they're doing with this movie, and I think that's smart. And we'll see how related Starfighter is to...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's like the point he's making right now, but it's like... Southpaw's in chat going, the fucking what now? But no, like, he doesn't even know like how connected Starfighter is going to be to the sequel trilogy. So he has no idea if that movie will in any way, like, warm fans up, quote unquote, to the idea of more stories set in that era. You know what I mean? Because I feel like most people who watch it aren't really they're not gonna give any fucks about like where, like when it's set, as long as it's good. But also, like that isn't gonna mean that they want more sequel era stories necessarily. I don't really see the connection there.
the sequels, I think the less related it is, the better it is for the movie. At the end of the movie, if you want to throw in a Rey cameo or a Poe cameo since he's a pilot, I think that's...
Marvel Brain.
No, just don't do that.
Marvel Brain.
What would that contribute? Explain. Like, it's not enough for you to be like, oh yeah, because again, like, it's like, why are we doing that? It's like, well, it gets people excited for the next product. Like, no, okay, but artistically, why is Rey or Finn or whoever, why are they cameoing here? What does it do for this movie?
Majali.
What does it contribute?
Poe's a pilot.
Well, apparently Poe's also a former drug dealer. Does that mean we should put him into Breaking Bad as well?
Yes.
Breaking Poe.
Fine. You can do a little sequel trilogy teases here and there. As long as the movie is good, fans aren't going to freak out. Actually, before moving on to 2028, we need to talk about the...
But sorry to pause. He's operating on this theory that, like, he's like, well, we don't want to piss off too many people. We don't want to make too many people mad or have too many people get excited. And I'm like, why do you care? What other people, like, why do you want other people to not get mad? The whole, I hate this argument. So annoying.
Well, it's kind of what we were getting at, right? It's like, you know, if you assume the role of president of this big company, right, of Lucasfilm, which controls one of the largest IPs in cinematic history, you're just going to have to make decisions that are going to piss a lot of people off. There's no getting around that, so I don't see what the point really is of dancing around it, you know? Which is why I say, why not just make the tough decisions?
Well, so there's a thing. Bear with me here because I promise this is connected. So I was rewatching H1 Guy's Ruibi video,
Love that video.
and it's great. Yeah, when he's talking about the writing team, he makes a point that, like, at all points, it's not that they've made necessarily bad writing decisions. It's that at every point they've been confronted with having to make a decision, they've opted out of making it entirely. Like, they refuse to make decisions. They refuse to take risks with anything. And the result is that what you ended up with Ruby was a completely hollow, meaningless drivel, a dribble of nothingness that was like just cribbing from other things they didn't understand properly. Much like modern Star Wars, actually. But this guy is advocating for the same thing, right? He's like, we're not going to make any decision that pisses anybody off. We're not going to try and risk anything. We're going to try and keep everybody happy simultaneously because the perfect is not the enemy of the good or anything, and we can definitely keep everyone happy. And it's just again, he's thinking like a really bad businessman and not an artist, and I just don't get it.
Well, like, the last time Star Wars tried to make a movie that made everyone happy, we ended up with The Rise of Skywalker, and everyone hated it. So how the fuck can you, like, would you imagine, like, doing that again is somehow going to be successful?
Yeah, same thing with Stranger Things 5. They didn't want to kill any characters, so they were just like, they kept having fake out deaths that didn't please anyone. And
It's
at the end of the day, no one liked that season.
It's a point I make, actually, in the part of the video I'm editing now, is that they're so allergic to killing off characters that they couldn't even have the cop characters that we've been following since season 1. I don't remember their names, but, like, one of them became chief after Hopper died. Like, they were in season 4 pretty prominently investigating the murders, obviously, and they're just completely absent in season 5. And I think the reason for that is because there's that part where, like, those army men come to arrest Robin for being, like, stealing those drugs in the hospital, and then the Demogorgons attack and kill them. And I'm like, is the only reason they had it be some generic military men arresting Robin instead of the actual police of the town was because they knew that those characters were about to get fucking murdered, and they didn't want to kill off anyone. And I mean anyone who's been in a previous season at all. Even as a fucking tertiary character.
I genuinely think it's just they forgot that those characters existed.
Yeah, they kind of forgot about the cops.
How do you forget? They've been in all of the show.
Well, they forgot to input those characters into the Chat GPT prompts. So
true.
Yeah. Adam says, Sheev, have you seen Friendly Space Ninjas 5-hour takedown of Stranger Things 5? Yes, and Sheev has thoughts on it.
Well, so I haven't watched all of it. I've watched most of it, and I don't want to go off on a whole tangent about Stranger Things and about this random fucking YouTuber, but, like, I'm not super impressed with his video on Stranger Things 5, all things said and done. I think he makes a lot of really weird points that I just fundamentally don't agree with. A lot of that stems from the fact that he's, like, way harder on season 4 than I am, and I think that colors some of the criticisms that he makes of the entire show and of season 5 in ways that I just don't think are fair or accurate, for that matter. And I have this problem with a lot of his videos. I find it a bit repetitive and bloated. So, like, yeah, it's about an hour and a half longer than my video is going to end up being. But also, like, I feel like there's more in my video overall. Not to just pat myself on the back there, but, like, yeah. So I've seen a lot of it, and I have nothing but the most respect for Friendly Space Ninja. I love his videos. I've watched his channel for years. Yeah. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna.
You know what I think would improve Disney Star Wars immeasurably? In fact, would improve all large franchises immeasurably. It's like if there was a clause in the writers' contracts being like, you are not allowed to see social media discussions of what you're writing at all. Like, if we catch you reading a single tweet, responding to anything, you're immediately fired.
I guess it's like, how would you ever impose something like that? Because you can't just ask the writers to not be on their phones.
No. I'm not saying this is real. I'm not saying this is realistic. I'm just saying that the world would be like the writing, the artistic world would be immeasurably improved in the big budget sphere if these guys couldn't just constantly be on their phones reading what people are saying on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, fucking what's his name? The Weeknd. Back when that show The Idol came out, he was, like, actively fighting with people on Twitter about it, and I'm just like, can the creators of shows please stop having fights with people on social media about their shows? Like, it's getting really old. I'm sorry. Like, it's so frustrating just to see them engaging so much with people who aren't the ones who made the art that they're watching. And I'm like, yeah, okay, death of the author and all that, but you should at least, I don't know, you shouldn't be fighting with people on Twitter about it. Have some decorum.
No.
Whereas it's also just like it encourages a very bad habit, and it ties into this whole viewing art as a business product thing, right? Which is when you make an actual product for market, like I don't know, like a new sweet or like a new chocolate bar or something, you want to be constantly monitoring people's reaction to it in real time so that you can tweak it to adjust the product for the audience, right? Like because you're trying to maximize the sales. So like that makes sense. But if that's how you're viewing art, you're already making a mistake. Because as an artist, you're supposed to be like making your art with a particular audience already in your head, and that's who you're writing for, right? And so like what other people are saying online in real time, if you're doing a piece of art that's like episodic and that's coming out as people are reacting to it, having people who just give you feedback all the time is a really dangerous thing because it'll encourage you to change your art to please them in ways that just will contradict what you've already written or where you're trying to go with it, and it'll just end up being completely incoherent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feedback is good, and constructive criticism is great. That's what we try to do on this channel. But at a certain point, you have to just go with your gut. You have to just like listen to that intuition in your mind and go, "This is what worked for the story," you know.
Well, yeah, because
And
like the thing with like good sorry, Bagel, go on.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, like, at the end of the day, if you try to please everyone, you're gonna please no one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when it comes to like I'm not saying artists shouldn't listen to criticism. They absolutely should. The difference is like unlike with say a chocolate bar where you're listening to it in real time and tweaking it as and when needed, because what the chocolate bar you sold before doesn't affect the chocolate bar you're selling now, right? Like people aren't those aren't the same thing. Whereas with an art product, you should put out your artistic work, and then you should look at the feedback from people who actually know what they're talking about to be like, okay, what did I get right and wrong with this artwork in terms of like my what I was trying to get out of it? Like how can I improve my craft so that the next artwork I'm successful at doing what I tried to set out to do in the first place? Like it's fine to fail as an artist, right? But as long as you're failing with the right way. But if the reason you're failing is just because like you're constantly trying to please everyone who week to week rather than with a long-term vision for anything, it's just going to be shit, and your future works will be shit too.
So what you're saying, Jolly, is that creators should take all their art to be reviewed by confused Matthew.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating. Like, okay, this might be a little niche, but there was this book author who wrote a book, and people didn't like the initial thing, and so they said, "Oh, well, I'll hire copy editors from my audience," and everybody was like, "No, do not do that at all. Hire professionals. Do not hire random people to help construct your art, like who just don't understand what you're trying to do." But it's this mindset where it's like, oh, I have to, if something isn't liked by the wider audience, we have to make it so it's liked by everyone, and you're never going to be able to do that. You're never going to have something that appeals to everyone, and I wish people would realize that.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Darth Maul show that's coming out in 2 weeks. I don't give a shit about this show. Let's just make sure it's good.
Finally, Gold Man, we are in agreement.
The way he delivered that too, as I don't give a shit about this show.
Well,
What he said was he just said, "Let's just make it good," and I said, "Okay, Mr. Goldman, how do you plan to do that?"
Yeah, that's
you just said, "Let's make it good."
That's the thing. It's like okay. The way I'd fix Star Wars is I'd greenlight all these projects and just hope they're good, and say make them good. You got to do a little more than that.
Like, how do we make it good? It's just like he just stares at his artist like just make it good. But what do we do?
Make it good.
Make it good. Bring me pictures of Spider-Man.
Ugh,
and of course, I won't watch it and improve it until it's on Disney Plus already, and it can't be changed. So.
Yeah.
For 1 season, make 1 season. If it's planned for 3 seasons, make 3 seasons. The reason I don't...
Well, it's already confirmed for season 2, I think, so...
Wait, you said don't care in quotation marks.
Oh, he's going to elaborate on the fact that he doesn't care, okay.
Don't care is because Star Wars animation should not be going in this direction. I am tired of these animated shows that just live in the shadow of the Clone Wars. The Bad Batch was a fine show, but it is clearly just a Clone Wars spin-off. Maul's Shadow Lord is also just a Clone Wars spin-off. Rebels, while clearly tying heavily into the Clone Wars, had its own identity. I would not consider it a Clone Wars spin-off.
Cynical part of me...
Fair enough, I actually agree with that point.
I agree with that point largely. I think the cynical part of me would say that Rebels is a Clone Wars spin-off insofar as, like, it did have its own identity, and especially like in the first season. But I think it got to a point where it was like, okay, let's just start doing the Clone Wars 2, basically. And it gets
Well, I guess the thing I would, yeah.
More control.
at that point, it is like, okay, now you're just doing the Clone Wars again. I don't want to see that.
Well, so I guess then the caveat I'd have to I agree with his point is like I agree with his point insofar as I agree when Rebels was Rebels, so before Dave Filoni started taking over it in like season 3 and onwards.
Mm-hmm. Of course, he was
Like,
just
at that
playing
point, yeah,
footage
Dave
of season
Filoni-
3 and onwards because Thrawn was there.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's the problem, right? It's like the moment Rebels started losing its own identity is when Dave Filoni came in and just hijacked it to be another continuation of his own work, right? Like he just started taking the toys out of the hands of someone else, out of another artist and playing with them himself, and like yeah, it just became worse as a result.
And you know, the one thing that can be said for all of Rebels is that at least it had a different fucking art style than the Clone Wars. And I don't even think it's a necessarily great art style. I think they were trying something interesting that could have worked in 2D, but not necessarily in 3D. But like, yeah, try more things, do different art styles, you know? There's more than one way to draw a character.
I've weirdly kind of grown to kind of like the thin lightsabers. I would like it in live action, but I've kind of grown to be like, you know what, I don't mind the thin lightsabers.
Nah, I can't. I just can't get behind them. They just
No,
look weird.
I don't like the thin lightsabers.
Next Star Wars show needs its own identity. It can't just be another Clone Wars or Rebels spin-off.
Okay, and I agree with that, but the problem with this argument is that earlier you literally said we need to rework certain aspects of the upcoming Mandalorian movie to tie into the rest of Star Wars, thereby taking whatever like individual identity it might have had and forcibly connecting it into the larger world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm desperately trying to steel man this guy just to give him some kind of argument, right? But if we go back to that first steel man I proposed, which is like he's suggesting like for the films they need to be tying into each other because these films are like events, right? Like they're separated by years, so they need to be like keeping you interested over years, even though there's not a constant stream of content. So in as much as like he's saying that, I kind of agree. Whereas with the TV shows, obviously he was envisioning them coming out like every year, every 2 years, and not therefore not being like an event to look forward to so much as just a continuous thing you're dipping in and out of. And yeah, as far as that goes, I think having them all connecting to one show is a bad idea. Like they need to be free to go off and experiment and go in their own directions and appeal to different audiences and in different ways and in different flavors, and that's a good idea. Now, I don't know if that's what he actually means. I'm just steel manning the fuck out of that. But if that was what he meant, I would at least have some sympathy for that point of view.
Yeah.
Maybe. The thing is, I know that obviously like goodwill towards Star Wars and like general interest towards Star Wars has diminished significantly thanks to Disney's constant blunders. But like it is still like at the end of the day, right? It is still Star Wars. I still think that like if you just keep doing what you're doing, right? Like put out these shows, put out these movies, and they're good. Eventually, like it's going to be enough again to just basically go, oh, a new Star Wars movie's in theaters. Let's go check that out. As long as like a little bit of goodwill is given back to the fans, right? As long as they're able to be like, oh, I can kind of maybe trust that this won't suck and be a waste of time and money. I'll go watch that because it's Star Wars and I like Star Wars. Like the point I'm making is like I don't necessarily think you need to like do these tie-ins between films to generate continued interest. I just don't see how that's necessary.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Now,
Also-
I'll propose my idea for this a bit
Oh,
later.
sorry. Did you want to say something, Bagel?
No, I was gonna say, at the Media Detective, I also need my lightsabers to have girth.
That's
That's a very good point.
Nah, bruh. Skinny lightsabers.
But for now, this is why I'm not excited for the Darth Maul show. I mean, I hope it's good, I'm just not excited. 2028 will see the release of Ahsoka Season 3. Still a long way ahead, but at least it's not 3 years away. Now, it's unclear if
I still can't get over it. Like, oh my god, 3 years between seasons is such a wide, it's an unacceptable gap. Anyway, 2 years between seasons, that's perfect. That's what we're gonna do.
That's fine.
Like, I just don't understand like why 3 years is so much more egregious, all things considered. I think they're both egregious. I think it's silly how many shows these days have like so many like multiple year gaps between them, right?
2028 is going to get a Star Wars movie. As of recording this video, there is no scheduled movie for 2028, so I'm gonna go on the assumption that there will not be a movie that year. So Ahsoka Season 3 will come out at the end of 2028, like I said before, and this is going to wrap up the series and tie heavily into Heir to the Empire. What is Heir to the Empire? Well, it will be the culmination of the Mandoverse, a movie releasing in May of 2029 based off the novel of the same name. I should say loosely based off the novel of the same name. Mando and Grogu will be in it. All the Ahsoka characters will be in it. Boba Fett will be in it. Old Mandalorian
Marvel
characters
Brain.
will be in it.
I just can't believe you think this is the formula to fixing Star Wars. Okay, Goldman.
Because this formula has worked very well for Marvel.
You just want it to be the MCU.
Guy who has only ever seen 5 movies in his life. I think this should be more like Avengers Endgame.
Okay. Somehow this is exactly what I was expecting from a Goldman video, and also nothing like what I expected, and I don't really know what to do with that.
This will be the last time we see all these characters. It is time to send them on their way and move on from this era. A few years ago, a Dave Filoni directed Star Wars movie was announced. This is going to be that. Dave Filoni can direct the final chapter of this story and then move on.
So you want it to suck.
Ahsoka should also probably die in this movie because they can't keep telling stories with her
He
forever.
can't direct
So this is my Dave
Sorry,
Filoni
what?
can direct the final chapter of this story.
I was just saying, please don't let him direct. Please don't let Filoni direct. He's another Lucas. He's just so terrible with like actors.
It's gonna be great.
Sorry.
You know what? I honestly think that's insulting to Lucas. Like, Lucas has very severe flaws as an artist and even more so as a director, but he is at the end of the day trying to do art. I don't think that's true of Dave Filoni.
Well, and Lucas also had like concrete ideas about what he wanted the sequel trilogy to be. They didn't all get executed well, but he at least had concepts.
As poorly directed as like the prequel trilogy is on the whole, there is still like lighting and cinematography.
True.
You know,
and there are some really great moments in
like
there's
color
some really
grading.
great moments in the
Like don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're exactly the same. I'm just saying he's like basically they both have very similar problems in the sense of performances are really wonky. Well, there's some nice bits of cinematography in the prequels. There's also quite flat coverage, quite commonly in those films. And just if Filoni was he has basically all the flaws of Lucas, but none of the good stuff. And and a lot of the flaws generally are worse.
Yeah, and also not to be that person, but George Lucas was at least willing to put politics in Star Wars.
Well,
like he was at least able to
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau will pretend they put politics in their shows. Like, remember Christopher Lloyd? He was a separatist loyalist who believed that Count Dooku was a visionary.
They literally shot them and said, "Ugh, politics."
Yeah, literally. And I'm just like, at this point, you're making a series called Star Wars. What do you think wars are, Mr. Filoni?
Well, it's also
what do you think they're based on?
It's out of character for Bo-Katan because like her whole thing is like I have this like terrorist sect that I used to be a part of because I genuinely didn't like the way that this like the society of Mandalore was going in. Like I didn't like the direction my sister was taking it in. Like that was political. She is a politician in every sense of the term. She's also like the heir to the throne and in all these different ways. Like she's big into politics. It doesn't make sense for her to be like, ugh, politics.
Why did she join Death Watch? If not for political reasons.
She's like, I joined a political terrorist group, and even now I am trying to, wrest back political control of my politically fractured and historically relevant people. But there's nothing political about what I'm doing. Don't worry about it.
I just want to swing the Darksaber around and go woohoo!
I just saw a comment.
Yeah,
a comment in chat
she
saying,
joined for hype moments in Aura.
I just saw a comment in chat saying Lucas was definitely anti-Bush. Nah, he wasn't anti-Bush. Just ignore the line from Anakin saying, "If you're not with me, you're my enemy." That was just a coincidence.
Well, specifically, a lot of Star Wars is from to the best of my memory. A lot of Star Wars is
that's really misogynistic.
Charlie, I knew where you were going with that, and I was trying to prevent you from going there. But anyway, but
Not too far. This is madness.
But my point is that Star Wars, actually, a lot of it was about the Vietnam War. Like, it was very anti-Vietnam War, and
no, you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, but that's kind of my frustration is that the reason it was created initially was a political one, and it also was to rip off Dune. But it's not exactly.
That tweet from that guy. who it was like, oh yeah, someone was like, oh yeah, you know, the Star Wars was based on the Vietnam War, and some guy responded like, oh really? Well, what would that make America then? Are we the Empire? And they were trying to be sarcastic. It's like, yes, my brother, that's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
that's exactly what you are.
That's correct.
Like Lucas, I think, has like in interviews you could look it up. I think said like Valorum is meant to like basically be like the Bill Clinton, where it's just like this weak, inofficial, neoliberal leader who just gets nothing
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, and that's kind of the fucking neolib mindset where it's like, oh, we can't make anything that offends anyone because we want to work with both sides. And I'm like, you should do something to yourself that I can't say on stream. But yeah.
Just have an opinion, do something.
You should stop being a
Princess
coward
Leia,
for
lovely
5
spawn, eh?
minutes.
I'll take a coward and take a fucking stance, Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've lamented about this before, but like modern Star Wars, as much as it's decried for being woke propaganda or whatever, is so deeply apolitical that it's actually insulting to just everything Star Wars is or was or could be.
Yeah, it's actually one reason why I'm glad we have the Dune movies, is that the Dune movies have politics baked into every aspect of it, and people are like, whoa, it's making us think
Yeah, but
deeply
nobody
about
understands
politics.
them though.
Well, yeah, but they have no ideology, just like Lord of the
Like, the
Rings.
amount-
Paul Atreides is a hero. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Yeah, the amount
He's
of
the
people I see
Messiah.
that Paul is a hero. Just oh god.
I keep seeing people make the argument of like, well, Dune is a bad book because the book frames Paul in a good light, and it's like, my brother in Christ,
What do you
you did
mean?
not read the book.
What do you mean?
Jennifer Lawrence meme. It's like, what do you mean?
What do you
What do
mean?
you mean?
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Well, then you are lost.
Ugh. Anyway, go support Dune Part 2 or Part 3.
Yes.
Then move on. Ahsoka should also probably die in this movie because they can't keep telling.
Oh well, that's the least realistic thing about all. Like you
Yeah,
could get
that's-
every other thing done.
That ain't
Yeah.
happening.
I thought you were doing this under the confines of like things that are possible to happen. Yeah.
Even if you're president, that shit ain't happening.
As far as Dave Filoni is concerned, Ahsoka is an immortal, like, deity who cannot be killed.
Ahsoka is like in She-Hulk when she comes out of the Disney Plus screen and goes and berates the writers for the way that her finale is turning.
Dave protects Ahsoka like she's the fucking anchor being.
It's
not happening.
she's just inside his hat going, "Rrr, don't you dare kill me off in the
It's
show."
fucking
What,
Ratatouille, but with
it's
Ahsoka.
his wife's. It's his wife's OC, right? That's why he's so attached to it.
Oh, actually, that's Bo-Katan. I thought he said.
Oh, is that Bo-Katan?
Or I think Katie Sackhoff said that. Yeah.
Well, it's like how Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote Phantom of the Opera about like the love story of him and his wife, and then they got divorced, and then he like brutally murders her in the sequel, which I think Dave Filoni did.
Sorry, can we just backtrack a little bit? So, Bo-Katan's Dave's wife's OC.
Well, that's what
so
Katie Sackhoff said.
Why
yeah.
does
Why does she
Dave
slap a
have
14-year-old
her
girl on the
wife's
arse?
OC? Yeah. What do you mean by this, Dave?
Well, the very simple
Dave?
answer is that Dave Filoni's wife.
Stories with her forever. So this is my part 1 or era 1 of my plan to fix Star Wars. It would end in May of 2029 with Heir to the Empire. I think if everything went according to plan here, Star Wars.
So, in other terms, this is phase 1 of the Star Wars cinematic universe.
Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
Just
Christ.
God, Goldman. Also, we're about halfway through. Just shy of that, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading off the super chats that I've gotten so far. And if any more come in, I will try to catch those as we go. From Mate56 for, I don't know what this currency is, but it's 1,000 of it. What are your thoughts on Maul Shadowlord so far? I think we addressed this at the beginning of the stream, but I'll say it very quickly again. I think it's bad. I think it's very bad. I think I'm gonna do a video on it. I hadn't made any plans to do any streams on it, which is why Jolly didn't have to watch it, but he got curious because of how bad I said it was, and now he's in the same boat with me, and he thinks it's bad. Thank you for the super chat. Next up, we have from Reginald Schrute for $5. Out of curiosity, what would you say is the single best film/show made, and what's the absolute worst you've ever seen? Also, can I have a cookie? To answer the second
same
question
film.
first, I don't think you can have a cookie. You've already had 7 today, and it's
The
getting out of
same film
hand.
/ show. Are they talking just Star Wars or?
I think just
all
generally.
film?
Generally.
I think the best show that I've ever seen is probably The Devil's Hour. I mean, I rave about it all the time, just whenever I get the chance, and to my friends, and they get annoyed by it. But it's like it's just so fucking good.
It's on the list. I'll watch
And
it.
I've shown
eventually.
it. I've shown it to like everyone that I could possibly convince to watch it, and they all love it because it's great. And more people need to watch it, and everyone should check out The Devil's Hour. It's on Amazon Prime. It's got Peter Capaldi in it.
Hold over your head that I introduced you to that show. Like that's like my get out of jail free card. Every time you're like, "Yeah, Jolly, this thing you recommend is bad." I'm like, yeah, but I also recommend The Devil's Hour, so yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, well, I got you to watch Severance, and you've seen season 1, which is fucking great.
I have now seen season 1, yeah.
As for film, I guess probably The Prestige, something like that.
I think I'd agree with you with The Prestige. As for film, I think for TV shows, I'd say Westworld season 1 is probably the best on a kind of crafting level that I've ever seen.
I'd even probably put Westworld season 1 above The Devil's Hour, just slightly. But the reason I didn't count that is because then you have to think about like seasons 2 through 4, and it's
No, there is only season 1 and 2. There is
true.
Westworld, you're wrong, you're mistaken.
True.
There is no war in Bossing Say.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, we have from Bullet Andy TV80i for $10. The reason that I wouldn't advocate for a full reset to do another episode 7 through 9 and the lore is that it will just confuse people since if stuff can just be changed so suddenly if it doesn't succeed. I get the general idea of what you were saying there. And the thing is, that's true, but the problem is like tough shit. I don't know. You just... I think fans are pretty accustomed to the idea of like separate continuities at this point. And the thing is, right, the more like general audiences that you try to like appeal to, right, a lot of them who just don't give a fuck about Star Wars, things like that are going to go over their head no matter what you do. I remember when Rogue One was being marketed, and everyone like there were a lot of people who just thought that Rogue One was supposed to be like the continuation of The Force Awakens, and they're like, I thought Vader was dead. You're just gonna get that anyway. You just have to bite the bullet. These films aren't for those people.
And for the more like sort of like people who are like not like mega fans, but like fans, that we're at the point. I think we're at the point now, especially like after stuff like Spider-Verse, No Way Home, the whole DCEU like reset with Gunn. I think at this point people are like your more casual fans are now like accustomed to this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, just fucking axe everything from Disney except for Andor and Rogue One. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
And also cut the Clone Wars, because that's pretty Disney.
Ooh, that's pretty controversial of you.
No, the Clone Wars has to go.
Yeah, it does.
All floaty slot must go.
And then Adam Maxium for $5. If you could wipe the Star Wars continuity and restart it, but are only allowed to adapt existing EU material, what would you keep and what would you toss? Definitely the Darth Plagueis novel. I've been wanting,
novel, right?
Yeah, I've been wanting an adaptation of that for years. I still think that could honestly be like really good in animation, but let's see, what else would I adapt if I could only take EU things? KOTOR, yeah, and the KOTOR comics that come with it, with Zane Carrick as the main character. This is some of my favorite Star Wars stories ever written. Is those comics. There's a lot of stuff that I like, but I don't want to put in there for one reason or another. What I would do is I would try to revive some semblance of the Clone Wars multimedia project, which had its fair share of terrible shit, but it also had a lot of bangers, and I'd probably just like try to adapt the stuff there that worked as best as possible. And yeah, I think that's kind of it.
If I was to do, like, if we were to redo the sequel trilogy, there's like elements from like the Timothy Zahn, I think that's his name, like Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, the Thrawn trilogy.
Like,
that stuff
I'd like to do Thrawn, but I'd probably tell a different story, like, adapt it for like 2015 like time period where like everyone's like older.
Well,
obviously account for like the prequels and whatnot.
You can't really do that with the Thrawn. The Thrawn story, as it is, kind of exists as like it has to take place in that general part of the timeline. It wouldn't really make sense if it was like decades later, which is why like if I were gonna do that, I would set it in that time period, and I would just recast the OT characters with young actors. I just wouldn't,
Yeah. That's the way to do it. I also don't know if I'd want Thrawn. Thrawn's a threat and he's an interesting character and stuff, but like he's not on the kind of scale of a Palpatine in terms of like what he thematically means for this universe. For him, if his victory was achieved, I'd keep him. Like if we were gonna do a TV universe for Star Wars, in a revised continuity, I would keep Thrawn as like the villain of that TV continuity, but I would be very, very much more careful with exactly how they've gone about doing that. And yeah, I would just recast the OT characters with new actors.
Yeah,
It's
no
honestly,
more AI
it's honestly that
Deep
simple.
fake.
I don't know why they don't. I don't know why they're so scared to just recast these characters.
No, because Solo, the recast was why Solo failed. Absolutely, not because
Obviously,
it was just a
yeah,
bad idea.
not for all the other reasons that it obviously failed. And then we just got another one in from Mr. Simps 12 for $5, saying thanks to Kyle Long for $50 and an anonymous donator for $5 for the donations to Logan's GoFundMe. And I agree. That's what this whole thing is about, and I was gonna promote it anyway after the super chats, but yeah. The reason we're doing this at all is to raise money for my friend who is in serious financial need right now. And the GoFundMe is linked in the description as well as pinned to the live chat. So please donate if you can, or share it around if you can't. And thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I speaking as someone who's been on the receiving end of the generosity of She's community in a way that really saved my bacon. These are hard times for everyone right now. Like, unless you're fucking Hassan Piker and a multi-millionaire streamer, we're all struggling right now. We all need to look out for each other the best we can. Like, if you can't do anything, we totally understand. Like I just said, everyone's kind of in dire straits right now. But even if you can just spare like $1 or two, that would really help Sheep's friend out a lot. So,
or seriously, even if you can't spare anything,
if
you could just share it around,
Yeah, absolutely. You
Does
can always at
wonders.
least share it around. The link is attached to the top of the chat for those wondering where it is. And it's also in the description as well.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Thank you to everyone who has donated. Thank you to everyone who will donate by the end of this stream. Looking at you guys. And back to the video.
Would be in a much better place, but not in the best place it could be. This is where Era 2 will come into play.
Oh God.
Era 2 is where I will save this
Phase 2.
franchise.
That's a very ambitious thing. The Era 2 is where I will save this franchise.
After having allowed Phase 1 to go ahead and continue to be catastrophic, I'm going to now save it
for the
in Phase
next
2.
for the rest of the decade, because he said that Phase 1 is going to go to 2029. Like, man, dude.
So post Artemis 4 landing on the moon, we're not going to get good Star Wars in this guy's run until after the moon landing.
He has concepts of a plan.
I have concepts of a plan.
What have I been saying this franchise needs?
What?
I was going to say, completely unrelated to Star Wars, but can you imagine how funny it would be if Artemis 4 landed on the moon and we just found a Decepticon there? Like, it just becomes dark as a moon.
Fucking, was it from the third one where we just see, was it the big Ark ship?
Yeah.
I was thinking of that
Karen.
scene in Smiling Friends where Pim and Charlie come back and they're like, "That's not Earth, is it?" Dude, that's completely flat. That's. I mean, there's the countries, there's the land. Oh my God, there's the glass dome. Charlie, the Earth is completely flat.
I'd be so tempted to do that if I was on this. One of my favorite, sorry, this is like a little tangent, but one of my favorite stories from the Apollo 11 landings is obviously because it was Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, but there was also the guy in the actual, piloting the ship who didn't go to the moon, who was, what was his name? Michael Collins? Something like that. But like he was, they were talking about like, okay, so Neil is going to be officially the first guy to step foot on the moon. He's going to have to say something historic. Like, what do we have him say? And Collins was like, look, if you had any balls, you would just look at, over like our shoulder and be like, oh my God, what the hell is that? And then just cut your camera feed. And I'm like, that would have been amazing.
Also, Adam Maximum just made a good comment in chat about, he said, I guess he's looking at it like James Gunn taking over from Snyder. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, it would be like, yeah, you're recreating the universe, but you kind of have to either wipe everything that came before, like Gunn did with the Snyderverse, or just find a way to fix the world building. And he's just saying, well, I'm just hoping it'll be good. I have no actual plans to make it good. I have no plans to write something better. Just am hoping that it somehow is better.
Just, again,
Like,
he
you
just
gotta
goes
be
to the
Luke's-
he just goes to the writers of these projects, just like
Make it
honestly,
good.
like, please, 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 please.
Please.
we'll end his reboot with like Luke Skywalker in a swivel chair, listening to "Because I'm a punk rocker." Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Looking at pictures of Owen and Beru's charred corpse.
Yeah, he'll dig up a video of Anakin Skywalker telling him he needs to assemble a harem to revive the
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Padme's like the staunch believer of democracy to like rule over these weak individuals in this galaxy and have as many wives as he can.
So this is how democracy dies.
I'm all for it.
I think that would actually. I think if Goldman ends the video with that argument, I would be like, you know what, you're so right.
He's
You're
so right.
correct.
Well,
This entire
If
video.
that happened, honestly, that would fix Padme's like acceptance of Anakin killing all the Tusken Raiders. It'd just be
Yeah.
natural for her now.
Yeah.
It'd be a character.
Yeah.
A new era. When you look at the years between the release of the prequels, prequel stuff was everywhere. Games, shows, comics, books, toys. Prequel stuff, again, was literally everywhere. I think one of the biggest mistakes the sequels made, outside of writing choices, was that they did not commit to the era. Sure, there were some toys and a few books, but it felt like once Disney
Oh my
bought
God.
Star Wars, they wanted to
He's
market
such a
the
capitalist.
It's literally
I'm
that.
sorry, that sentence. Like, I think the worst decision they made outside of the writing choices.
So
Man,
outside of
you're so corporate brained. You make me sick.
aside from all the reasons that the sequels are just fucking dog shit, you know, they also didn't sell enough comic books surrounding the era. Okay.
yeah, like the comic books would fix the horrendously broken world building and characters
Yeah,
and like
The thing
nonsensical
is,
Make me Ray
themes.
Skywalker Labubu's. That's why it's failed.
like the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, the
we
movie sounds like a real glub shitter name.
we have a lot of we have a lot of criticisms of the prequel trilogy, like all four of us, and we've talked about them at length in various parts of the internet. You know, you can
They're
go
bad
find that.
films.
They're bad. But the stance that we've always maintained there is that like they are fundamentally something that you can build off of to make something really wonderful. And that's why the extended material around the prequel trilogy works so well. There's a lot of great stuff there. Again, some stinkers, I'm not going to deny that, but like again, the Clone Wars multimedia project, and he referenced some of that just now.
The issues with the prequels are also like the individual plots and characters rather than the actual like
Yeah.
foundation around them.
The
is mostly
world building
solid.
is there, and there's a lot to work with, and a lot of more talented writers than George Lucas took that and were like, okay, and made something actually fucking worthwhile. That's not to say there's not worthwhile elements of the prequels as films, but you get what I'm saying. With the sequels, the world building is so completely and totally destroyed. There's nothing you could do, and I know this because like I've read sequel era books and comics and stuff. I've read that, and I've watched these writers work around the clock to try to make things make sense. And it only ends up getting worse because they're expanding on something that just fundamentally doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah, the sequel trilogy didn't really have much of a coherent through line, which is the main problem with it. It also didn't have a lot of, I don't know, it didn't have a lot of things tying into each other. Everything was just kind of thrown together like a hodgepodge, whatever the word is, like a
Hodgepodge.
mishmash of random shit. Hodgepodge, ugh.
A bukkake, if you will.
It's just like an amalgamation of different vibes and concepts and moments and hype auras, and I'm like, can you please tell me a story? You're just doing shit. You're not. Do something interesting. Have a story. Make a point.
Do something.
Yeah.
It's not even hype moments and aura, right? It's like when your 3-year-old kid finds like your mom's, your wife's high heels and is like walking around the house. It's like, it's a child's attempt to recreate a hype moment and an aura. Like those movies, cringe and bad and broken all the way through to their core.
I wouldn't even describe like I don't think that's an accurate description for like Rise of Skywalker Pacific. Like Rise of Skywalker, like hype moments and aura read to me is more as an ex, like a pathetic ex, like knocking on their ex's door and just like going, please, here's some flowers, here's some chocolates, please.
No, Rise of Skywalker is like when the like really unpleasant middle of the road politicians that everyone despises try to reboot their popularity by being seen doing something quote unquote normal, like going to a bowling alley or something, or like just like doing an awkward Chris on TikTok. Like, that's
oh my
what it feels
god,
like.
Jolly, it's Keir Starmer going to a primary school going 6, 7.
Oh,
It's Ed Davey.
Oh.
It's
Oh.
everything Ed Davey does for the Lib Dems. It's like it would be a bit like if Lindsey Graham tried to reboot his popularity by just I don't know, going on
By the
Book
way,
Talk and reviewing YA
Side note,
fiction.
Sheev, our Prime Minister going 6'7" in a primary school, that's a real thing. Look it up.
Did he? Oh
It
no!
actually
Yes.
Oh,
He is
Yeah, well-
unfathomable levels of pathetic.
I saw a
Look, he's going in a month. He'll be
how
gone
do
in
you
a month,
do,
trust
fellow
me.
kids?
He's
I
got
saw-
until the May elections.
I saw a really good video about it was about Stranger Things 5, but it was like the people who like Stranger Things 5 are the same people who clap when a company comments on a TikTok, and I think that's also applicable to Star Wars sequel fans.
Wasn't that also in the
It's like,
Friendly
oh my God.
the Friendly Space Ninja
Yeah,
video?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That was a
yes,
good
it was.
joke.
And yeah, it's a good joke, and it's also a true point where it's like, oh yeah, it's the people who will say, oh my God, Slim Jim has commented on this thing about a conspiracy gate theory, and I'm like, you people are so easily entertained. Like, I'm just gonna jingle some
What do you mean,
keys
you
in front of your
people?
face and watch you clap. What do you mean, you people? I'm just gonna like dangle a shiny object and go, look at it, it's so cool. That's what you people do. It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Dagon said the way
Not
you
high
fix Star
standards.
Wars is by making Sneakers O'Toole canon, and I agree.
Right.
Absolutely.
Pokemon go
before-
to the polls.
I
Ugh.
didn't take my sneakers off. I am
Before we,
Sneakers O'Toole.
Before we continue, Sheev, look in chat, not the stream chat, Discord chat.
Oh, I don't want to watch that right
You're
now.
welcome.
Ew.
Yeah, we're not.
Oh my
We're,
God.
we're here to discuss real stuff, like how Goldman would fix Star Wars.
Yeah, we're not gonna
original
watch
Okay, this
Star
is
Wars
gonna
Armor
sound-
being cringe.
But just before we carry on with the thing about Goldman, I've just been looking at like a freeze frame of his face on my other monitor, and like, why is all of the like? I don't want to be mean, but like all his facial features are, like concentrated in the center of his face.
Yeah, he's Charlie Kirk.
We are Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he's
Sorry,
got
Gary,
that-
that's
got that
not being said as a
Kirkian
negative about this man. Like how he looks is of absolutely no relevance to his opinions or what I think about him. It just occurred to me as I was looking at him, like it is weirdly concentrated, just like in like a lot of this just seems superfluous. It's
Oh,
odd.
there's an abnormal there's an
we
abnormal
carry the
concentration of
pain.
facial features in the center of this man's face, awful.
You guys are
Sorry, carry on.
all bullies, and I hate all of you.
Side of writing choices.
Bullies.
I actually look exactly like that guy.
Bullies.
Was that they did not commit to the era. Sure, there were some toys and a few books, but it felt like once Disney bought Star Wars, they wanted to market the original trilogy to everyone, not the new trilogy
true.
they were making.
That is
So
true.
era 2 of
But I guess the problem with that argumentation is like not really, right? Because they made Galaxy's Edge, which was obviously like a really big project that took a lot of money, and they advertised the hell out of it. And that was based in the sequel era. It didn't even have like original trilogy characters there at first. They came later once Disney became more and more desperate to like get people to go see the attraction. But like for a good while, and like even now, like it's supposed to be set on the planet Batuu, like in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and you're supposed to like meet Kylo and Rey and all these different characters, and like you go on the Falcon, but only because the Falcon is part of the sequel trilogy, So that's not necessarily that's true, but only to a certain extent, I would say. Is I guess the point I'm making.
My plan to fix Star Wars is mostly going to center around one time period in the Star Wars mythos, and that time period is the Old Republic. The Old Republic is the key to saving Star Wars. Why? I'm glad you asked.
no.
First and foremost, the era is
Don't do what I
already
think you're gonna do.
established within the expanded universe,
Jolly's
and it's an
urge to
era that is
kill
beloved. You
rising.
don't have to come up with entirely new ideas. You would pretty much be adapting the Old Republic just into the new canon. This way, you have the best of both worlds. The stuff that is beloved from the Old Republic you can take from the EU and adapt into the canon, and the stuff that isn't beloved you can either leave it alone, change it, or also bring it into the canon. Also, by adapting the Old Republic, you're bringing in a wider audience. When Lucasfilm pushed its High Republic initiative, since that was a completely new time period in the Star Wars mythos, it had to earn the interest of Star Wars fans. With the Old Republic, since it's been around for more than 2 decades, fans are more willing to give it a chance since it has a positive reputation. This is why there was so much excitement.
Well, no, hang on. So that's just
No.
like this is okay. This is fundamentally not true on like either way you want to take it. So let's just deal with the business side because that seems to be how he's approaching it. We'll deal with that first, right? Which is like, let's say I'm in the boardroom with Disney and he's the president of Lucasfilm, and we're asking him like, oh, how are you gonna make these financially successful? This new continuity you're gonna be doing, or how are you gonna be rescuing it? How are you gonna make us money? And he's like, well, I'm gonna bet I'm gonna bet the farm on a period of Star Wars history that is like really popular amongst a very niche subsection of the general public, which is, and even like a kind of like not a niche subsection of Star Wars fan, but like a minority of Star Wars fans, like guys who played the KOTOR games, the guys who were invested in the Old Republic MMORPG, the guys who read the Old Republic comics and the KOTOR comics, which I'd say is like what maybe 10% of the Star Wars fandom if we're being generous, because most of the Star Wars fandom's gonna be more casual than that. Yeah, we're gonna use those 10% of our fandom as the baseline for what we should be doing to appeal to the entire market of the US box office and beyond. We're going to build it all on that.
Also,
we're going to really sell it on that reputation of that. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it's also the problem of like if you go back and write stuff about the Old Republic, you're just gonna risk creating more world building holes because obviously with the way that Star Wars is now, it's like they're not exactly master world builder writers. Like they're not just going to be able to magically become good at their jobs and be able to write the Old Republic in a way that's coherent.
I greenlight a KOTOR project and I hope that it's good. That's how this
Yeah,
works.
I assemble my writers and I tell them to make it good.
Bagel, look.
I stare at my writers and I say,
Dave,
just
we
do better.
trust.
In Dave we trust.
In Dave, we trust.
I trust Dave Filoni with a KOTOR project. I don't know about you guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I saw what he was going to do with Darth Bane.
It's gonna be great.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, like so there's that side of it, which is the business side of it, and then artistically, it's just a thing of like, okay, so what stories are left to tell, specifically in the Old Republic setting? It's like basically nothing. Revan's arc is done. Krea's arc is done. The Exiles arc is done. We saw what happened when the Old Republic tried to bring it back. It became absolute dog shit real quickly. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Vitiate? Are we gonna bring him back because he was so fucking popular? He had absolutely no terrible world implications.
And he's so non-committal to this whole idea too, because he literally said earlier, like, you can pick and choose the stuff that works and like, cut out the stuff that doesn't, or even just put it in anyway. And I'm like, okay, that's not even an idea then. You're just basically saying you might even have these things to work with. Fucking, I don't know, do what you want. Like, I don't know, man. You're supposed to be the guy fixing Star Wars. Can you tell me, like what specifically is your plan? Okay, we're gonna do KOTOR. We're gonna focus on that era. What are we gonna get? Are we gonna get books? Are we gonna get comics? Are we gonna get TV shows? More video games? Movies? What? What are we doing? How are we doing it? What's the overall plan? Who are our protagonists? How does it tie into the material that already exists? Or are we just doing away with all of that? How is it meaningfully and artistically building and expanding upon all those characters' arcs and the world building there and the storyline and all of that? How are we doing any of that?
Yeah, and this is all structural shit too, where he's like, oh, we should sell more products. We should set it in a different time period. I'm like, okay, man, but you're not figuring out the main problem, which is that the writing is bad. You're not figuring out that the creative bankruptcy of this franchise has gotten to a point where it's literally just pumping out endless slop to the point where it all is it's all basically the same. Like there's nothing interesting about any individual Star Wars product at this point because it's all the same.
Let's not forget his sort of philosophy of like, oh, we'll tighten releases to make sure there's 2 projects a year. It's just like, okay, so you just go run into the Marvel problem of like, yeah, even though you're in a new era, so maybe you don't have the baggage of the sequel trilogy or anything like that. You're just gonna run into the exact same problems as Disney have, where it's just it becomes just an unorganized mess. Like you cannot handle it. The writers cannot handle it. They just cannot keep everything in line, in track, and it just all falls apart and becomes a huge contradictory mess.
Well, I'm just imagining you trying to sell this to the general audience, not even casual Star Wars fans, but just people who might not even be Star Wars fans, just the average movie-going family in America, right? And we have a limited amount of money, cinemas are getting more and more expensive. How do you convince me to buy your movie? It's like, well, what is it? Oh, it's a Star Wars movie. Cool. What is it? Star Wars from my childhood. It's like, no, it's set 5,000 years before the movies. The look of it is much more blocky, and there's a bunch of characters you've never met before. Are you interested? I was like, not really, man. I'd rather take my 3 kids to, I don't know, the new Shrek movie. At least I won't have to pay attention.
I'd rather go see Super Mario Galaxy in theaters this weekend. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the problem. It's like you have to create something that will have, if not, universal appeal, at least enough appeal to, a parent with their 8-year-old kid who loves Luke Skywalker. You can't have it be the super niche Old Republic storytelling where it's like, okay, but they don't I'm not saying make slop. I'm saying make something that appeals based on artistic merit and not just nostalgia bait.
Well, yeah, because the point is that there's only two viable strategies here, right? One is that you're going to accept the Andor route, which is you accept that, at least initially, you're going to have a massive precipitous drop in audience, right? Like where you do something very niche and artistically valuable, and then you rely on the word of mouth to reignite interest in your projects. And you just have to accept that for the first like 3 or 4 years, it's going to be very slow, right? As you build up to it. Like you're just going to have that period where you're just not making as much money as you'd like to be. And then it'll pay off long term. Or you just have to be like, no, we have to just stick with what people know. We have to sell based on the products they already understand and the characters they already know. Like, if we want to make money tomorrow, we need to start telling stories about what Luke Skywalker was doing, and 5 years after the Battle of Endor, we need to be talking about like basically the actual decision that they went with, because Disney like printing money, right? But if that is what you're doing from a business perspective, that actually makes sense. The problem is they just wrote it to be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Well,
the
I mean-
fundamental problem here is the writing. It's not necessarily the concepts. Like you could have done interesting things with an Ahsoka show. They just chose not to because they're boring and they want to appeal to the greatest common denominator.
Because that's the thing is like when Disney started out, right? When they brought the franchise and they had all these plans for like this is what we're gonna do. They kind of had like a slam dunk just ready to go, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna do 3 movies coming off of like the heels of like we haven't had a movie in theaters other than the Clone Wars movie in like a decade already. And it's going to be about Luke, Han, and Leia post Return of the Jedi and like what they got up to and like how the world has developed in the 30 years since then and all these different things. It's like you really couldn't ask for a better setup for just instant moneymakers, right? And that's why The Force Awakens made $2 billion and is one of the highest grossing movies of all time. So like you could go with strategy too that Jolly was laying out, and like as long as the writing had just been good and you kept doing that and going forward, you wouldn't have ever had to like have that have that whole like, oh, we have to sacrifice a few years of just like not slow moving business in order to like establish ourselves a little bit and get word of mouth. You wouldn't even have to do that. You shouldn't have had to do
There's
that.
hilarity as well. When you're comparing those two strategies purely from a business perspective of like the second one, if we want to make money now, let's just do things that people already know. That's just like pure greed driven, right? It's like we want money now. We want to be able to go to the shareholders in the next quarterly review and tell them how much money we're making. But if you're actually like being smart about like, well, but what happens if we get that wrong though? Like, because if we try that and we get it wrong, we're never recovering. Like that franchise is dead, which is what happened, right? Like if you were a smart businessman, you go, actually, we're a new owner. The fans are a bit sensitive about the fact that it's in new hands. Like, what do we do? Like, well, why don't we just take it slow? We'll introduce like a couple other projects that where we're really concentrating on the quality and they're a bit disconnected, so that if they do go wrong, they can be compartmentalized. They can just be quietly sidelined, and we can learn from the mistakes and move on and refine what we're doing. Right, that would have been the smart thing to do, but unfortunately, the monkey brain, we need money now attitude prevailed, and now it's all fucked.
Yep.
Like something like what Mandalorian, like what we all thought Mandalorian was going to be, where it's just like this like sort of bounty hunter off like the corners after Return of the Jedi, like not connected to anyone else, just like these small scale adventures with this like bounty hunter. Like it's just like, oh, if it's good, great. If it's bad, well, we can just ignore it.
Yeah. Oh, fans didn't like that one? Cool. We don't have to deal with it ever again. We can just ignore it.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember Star Wars 1313?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the premise of that would have been perfect for like just kicking off your new franchise under Disney. It's like, all right, we're gonna wait a couple of years, like while we work out what we want to do with the movies, but we're just gonna quickly greenlight this 1313 thing. We're going to take some of the few ideas that George had from his Underworld project that might work, and we'll do a more mature setting, something in a kind of Andor-esque vein, although obviously Andor didn't exist back then, but something like that, right? And we're just going to use that to like as the prestige piece of bait to bring the audience back while we get started on the movie. So that would have been really cool.
Oh, also, I mean, Southpaw just brought this up in chat, but I was gonna say it too. Is like apparently Wilson Bethel was gonna voice the main protagonist of that game. He was. Like, slated to, and that's pretty cool. Could have been nice.
Well, you know what? I'll give him this. Star Wars Rebels is like something like Star Wars Rebels, what it was originally, like the first 2 seasons. Not bad. Like not a bad introduction as like a side thing, like a cartoon.
Well, Southpaw, you say that like Star Wars 1313 needs to be brought back from the dead, but like it would just suck, right? It would be terrible.
It would just be bad.
Yep.
We're talking about Outlaws was great. No notes.
All right, Goldman. Let's see how it goes on.
Excitement around Fate of the Old Republic. Literally, it has solely to do with the Old Republic in the title. If it was
Wait,
Fate
is that
of
even
the
still
High
happening?
Republic, people wouldn't be
I don't
as interested.
I think it's still like in like development limbo and ambiguity or whatever, which means no, basically. But
Because, like, yeah, originally it was the KOTOR remake, and then that just seems to have quietly been killed off behind the scenes. And then they reused the assets from what they had done to be like, oh, we're doing an Old Republic game generally. And I'm like, I do not believe this will come out. This is going to be Star Wars Eclipse all over again.
mhm.
It's not coming out.
Well, yeah, it's like the fucking Rey movie. You know, it's just not gonna happen. These people can't actually create a product, and that is bad. That is just bad.
Yes.
I think there's something very interesting about adaptations that can captivate an audience. Since a significant part of the fan base is already familiar with this era, they're going to be anticipating how
Significant is a very vast overstatement, but sure.
Well, it's also I'm just so disgusted is a bit strong. You know what I mean? Like, just turned off, given the ick by the attitude underlying that. I was like, ooh, there's already a ready-made audience we can cash grab from. Like, that is not how you should be thinking about this.
Yeah,
Well-
well, this guy has such a corporate mindset.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
that's the fundamental thing is like we clicked on this video expecting like how would I fix Star Wars by like saving it from itself, right? Basically like making it good again, making it worth watching again, making everyone happy that it's there. And his strategy was, well, how would I make Disney the most money, assuming that I was the president? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to like why the fuck would I watch a 20-minute video about that? I don't want to. I don't care about
Here's
that.
what I
Pretty
mean by the fantasy football mentality, right? Because, like, okay, so like, you know, tangent for people who obviously aren't privy to private conversations between me and she. We were just casually, and one of the things that came up was like we were talking about like one specific thing about the prequels, and like it got into a bit of a discussion about like how we might change some things, like how we would deal with like Owen in the OT. I think in the prequel trilogy, like. What would we do him if we had the chance to write the prequel trilogy? And we got into this really interesting discussion about like, oh well, you know, how would we incorporate him into like Padme? How would we change Padme's character? And we came up with all these like, you know, like hypotheticals for like what we could do with her. Like, oh, maybe swap the dynamics. So rather than her being the queen and saying, you know, the decoy, maybe it's she's the decoy or one of the decoys, and Sabe's the queen, and the queen actually does die. She gets horribly gets injured escaping Naboo, and she dies, and Padme has to pretend to be her to the Senate, you know, like to try and salvage the situation. Like, there were always like what ifs that we were talking about where like you could take it in really interesting thematic directions. And that was the pleasure thing that made it fun as a conversation and make in this franchise fun. Is that you just, okay, how could we do these themes then? Like, how could we improve the themes? How can we write this in a way that's like emotionally satisfying and has this good logical causal through line that really reinforces? That's the pleasure of it. And to watch how can we turn it into dinosaur is just so draining.
Yeah.
I think we got the bulk of that, but like, yeah, your internet was kind of fucking up a little bit there. But
Womp
like,
womp.
just to reiterate, in case you
sorry.
guys like weren't like didn't get what he was saying, like yeah, like the point is like the fun of these discussions is talking about like the artistic side of it, right? Like talking about like the things that like would make this interesting narratively and thematically, like talking about the things that actually make the story tick, not how would I make Disney the most money? How would I, you know, be a good little capitalist president and you know fill all the quotas and you know and make sure we reach that quota every quarter and all, you know, all these different things. Like there's no point in that. Nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah, like nobody
like-
wants to watch a purely corporate product, even if it's. I mean, I know all TV shows and movies are corporate products, but nobody wants to watch one that feels like one.
I mean, me and Chief have had, funny enough, in private, similar conversations about fixing the prequels. I think the big one was Phantom Menace when we were talking about how we'd fix that film. And like, yeah, a big thing once again was Owen's getting an upgrade. He's showing up in that film. I think also, obviously, this would be used in benefit of hindsight, but like Dooku's also showing up in that film
Oh yeah.
as like part of the Order.
Oh
I
yeah,
think we also
we've
talked about,
Dooku
like,
in from the beginning.
yeah, like we are having him on the Jedi Order.
Also,
he's there.
Southpaw, to answer your question, the reason 1313 would suck, I'm assuming, I would gather, is because A, that's just like the batting average for all these things, and there have been very few exceptions. And even for the games, like the best we have are like the Jedi games, which aren't necessarily the best story-wise. And second, because Tony Gilroy's never coming back, and even if he does, Dave Filoni is president now and would stick his fingers in and fuck it all up anyway. So, yeah, no, I think 1313 would suck. Like, I'd give it
But,
a
like, we also have,
95% chance of failure.
But we also had like not to go too deep into it, but we had like several other conversations like, will we have Anakin be a slave or not? What's the pros and cons about doing either option? Do we just have Obi-Wan as the only Jedi there, or do we have Qui-Gon? We had a lot of different conversations about what we do with the Phantom Menace, especially. It was really interesting.
Yeah. Well, the conversation that Jolly was referencing is one that like I basically branched off of the one we'd already had, Sam, because I was basically just running it by him, and so he was refining some of the ideas that we came up with in a way that I think works really well. Like even maybe the idea of Owen being Padme's brother instead, and maybe he was like a member of like a Naboo pilot or something, which is kind of a cool idea.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway. Jolly, you there? Are you? You might be.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
He was just passing a kidney.
Having a kidney, a kidney stone.
You're Jolly and Sheev. Maybe.
Wait, hang on, whoa. Hang on, that groan was Sheev, not me. I don't know why you're pointing that on me.
Huh?
It's a groan. It sounded more like you.
The groan was.
I'm passing a
Sheev.
kidney.
I've been silent.
You all sound the same to me. All male voices just kind of
I'm playing the video. I'm playing the video.
How Lucasfilm will
I am
adapt
non-binary
certain
bagel.
things,
All-
whether that be
all deep voices
stories,
sound the same to me.
characters, vehicles, worlds, literally anything. With House of the Dragon, for example, there are a lot of people who know nothing about the
good.
lore
Yeah, we should take
and
our
are just
cues from House
enjoying
of
the
the
show.
Dragon.
But then there's
Hey,
people
look, the
like
first
me,
season was good.
characters, vehicles, worlds, literally anything. With House of the Dragon, for example, there are a lot of people who know nothing about the lore and are just enjoying the show. But then there's people like me who have read the source material, and a big part of my interest
And you're
is
still
seeing
enjoying
how
the
certain
show?
story beats will be adapted. The Old Republic can be that for Star Wars. Now, not everything during this time period is going to relate to the Old Republic, but most of it should, and this way we can really define this era of Star Wars. Let's now go into the specifics. The main event of this era will be a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy of movies, spanning from 2029, 2031, and 2033. Now,
I'm going to
KOTOR is
hate
a
this.
massive game. It's not going to be easy to adapt into a movie. For one, that's why I think a trilogy would work better, but also you can adapt a lot of these side quests into comics or books. You can go on the KOTOR Reddit and see people's ideas of how they would split up the story of KOTOR. What Lucasfilm needs to do if they go down this route is to hire some true KOTOR savants to write this.
What Lucasfilm needs to do is go onto Reddit and see what ideas they have about how to make
Hey,
this
Reddit?
work as a trilogy.
Oh yeah, Reddit, the bastion of good takes.
See, again, Lucasfilm already went to Reddit to see what they should do for Star Wars, and that's how The Rise of Skywalker got made, so...
Yeah.
In Reddit, we trust.
Oh, I forgot you like that. Sorry, Goldman. I forgot. Carry on.
Script. No more of this
Do you
Leslie
think it's just going
Headland
to
bullshit.
descend? Like, you know, the Reddit angle didn't work, so we're just going to go down like the food chain of bad
Right, boys,
discussion.
Twitter.
So, like, this is the movie that
Twitter knows where it's
no,
at.
this is the movie that 8chan wrote.
guys, I got it. Check out this pitch from MySpace. It's what's up.
We're going to bring back MSN Messenger and see what they think about it.
Someone said they need to go on Soy Jack. Yeah, the Soy Jack Star Wars movie.
We need to round up the super Hulk Tumblr heads and get them to write a Star
No,
Wars
we need to
movie.
get Pit
Absolutely.
Twitter. We need to get Pit Twitter in the writing room.
No, God.
The last thing we need.
So I was just saying,
We
someone
get
sent me a
Chris
Snapchat
Chibnall.
story about how we fix Star Wars. We got it, guys.
in Star Wars is another Leslie Headland. Ideally, you would bring Drew Karpyshyn himself to write the scripts for the movies. If not that, then certainly as an advisor. KOTOR is one of the best video games ever made, and it is truly beloved. If we get a good adaptation, again, it won't be easy, but if done properly, I believe it can truly save the Star Wars.
Okay, but how? How? Are you just expecting it to just
He's got
magically
no.
appear out of thin
He
air?
greenlights the project and then he hopes and he prays.
Mr. Goldman, what is your Mr. Goldman? What are your ideas? To
I'm
fix
imagining
this?
being the president of Lucasfilm, right? You've greenlit this project. You haven't done anything to supervise it or in any way, determine its outcome. And then you load up Disney Plus on premiere night and you watch it and you're like, oh no, no!
Yeah,
If
you're
only
like,
I could have
good.
solved this particular issue.
Okay.
You know what's interesting
problem
about
with this man
the hang on. So do you know what's really interesting about the way he's framing this, which just leads to nothing like why he shouldn't be allowed to run this. When he's like, "Oh, KOTOR is one of the best video games of all time." No, I'm sorry. I love KOTOR. I love its additions to Star Wars lore. You have to be beyond silly to think it's one of the greatest games ever made. Like there are just even in its own genre, even within the decade, like you've got Deus Ex, you've got the original Fallout games, which all did what it was trying to do a lot better. I don't trust anyone to be writing this project who is so KOTOR obsessed that they think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You have to be open to its flaws, otherwise it's just going to be bad whatever you write.
It is one of the video games of all time, is what I'll say. But yeah, no, I like my problem with Goldman, and I'm just like, sorry to keep reiterating this point. It's like you keep talking about, oh yeah, we'll just make something good and then that'll fix it. I'm like, okay, sir, what do you plan to do to make it good? What are the things? Tell me your ideas, and not just, oh, we need to sell more toys. We need to.
His
up
ideas
Disney
are to take the KOTOR story and turn it into a trilogy, and that is the extent of his ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question mark profits.
He's concept maxing. He has no idea of what it actually takes to write a story, which is get people who are good writers and
So Bagel, what we're gonna do, right, is we're gonna send JD Vance to Pakistan to negotiate. And that'll be how we get a good solution.
And it'll just happen. It'll just magically happen. It's gonna be so great.
Yeah. The Disney movies will be good. The Strait of Hormuz will just open spontaneously. It'll be excellent.
I'm just imagining Dave Filoni watching these videos like, oh, I didn't realize that what I should be doing is giving the fans stories that they want.
I didn't realize that what I should be doing is writing good stories. Like,
I didn't know. Here I thought I was giving fans what they want. But fuck it. I guess I'll just do what you're suggesting, I guess. I don't know.
So, and not to dox myself too much, but I work in healthcare, like in my real life, and a lot of the time, people who are not, like the people who are directly treating like patients, a lot of there's like, yeah, just make it happen. It's like, okay, well, there's a lot of, we can't just do that. We can't just make someone better, you know? Like, we can't just say, oh yeah, I'll just
give them
better.
the medicine drug.
Yeah, it's so complicated. There are so many things you have to figure out with regard to this, and it's the same problem with this guy, where it's like he's like, oh yeah, just make the patient better.
We're sending this man with
right now.
third degree burns to your hospital, and we just hope you'll make him better.
We're sending him to the
also the problem
Mustafar
with,
system in the Outer Rim.
Not to dox Bagel, but she actually works in the Pittsburgh Trauma Center.
She actually works at this specific address. I'm pasting it in chat right now. Hang on.
Yeah,
But,
she works under Dr. Robinovich.
But it's kind of the problem also with like movie making, where it's like, yeah, we have to fix it. We just have to do it. Again, how? What are your plans to do so?
No, we'll do it in post. We'll just do it all in post.
Well, there's a movie that was like, one
post.
time I wrote the plot. Like, we'll do it all in post. One time I wrote the plot in post, and I think about that all the time.
What's the healthcare equivalent of like we'll do it in post? We'll just hand it over to the surgical team.
We'll just do it when we're like stitching up. We'll just give them like medicine after they've already died.
This man,
doctor, this man is going into septicemic shock. What do we do? It's like, I don't know. The surgical team can handle it, I guess. We'll fix it in surgery.
I don't fucking know, man. You think I'm a doctor?
Yeah. Yeah.
This man's suffering from internal bleeding. We'll stitch him up.
The doctor's like, well, have you called 911?
Yeah, it's like, oh, have you gotten? He called it. The doctor's like, oh, have you called in the doctor?
But
you go to the doctor and you're like, doctor, there's like a kitchen knife like wedged in my leg, and he's like, have you thought about just like not having one wedged in your leg?
He's like, oh, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah. Well,
that's my professional medical advice: is that knife should not be in your leg.
Yep.
Doctor, like I lost my arm. I need to treat like the bleeder. It needs to be like stitched up. Have you tried not losing your arm?
Well, someone in the chat actually made a really good a good point that was kind of a joke, but it caught my eye, where they said like, basically what Goldman is suggesting is putting a band-aid over a cancer tumor, and I was like, that is correct. That is that is a very accurate description of what he's suggesting to do to Star Wars.
No. Goldman is that doctor who, like, a woman comes into the clinic going like, "Oh, I've got, like, this strange feeling in my chest, and like it's really tight, and like I feel like I might be having a heart attack." And he's like, "No, you're just being hysterical. Here's some aspirin. Go home."
He diagnoses her with like histrionic personality disorder and gives her 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and says, "Just go home and drink some water." That's ugh. But anyway.
But ultimately, like, to kind of get back to it, like, I feel like obviously if Dave Filoni were to watch this video, I'm assuming Dave thinks that the shows he's making are good, right? Like, he doesn't think that the stuff he's making is bad or that like fans don't like it, obviously, or he wouldn't do it, presumably.
Just the mental image of, like, he says that in public and then he just goes into a bathroom and, like, closes the door, like, leans on the sink and looks in the mirror and goes, it is good, right?
It's
what
good.
I'm doing is good. I'm doing the right thing.
But,
please. The hat's like, yes, Dave.
But the point I'm making though is like, okay, so he's watching this video and he's watching this video, seeing how this strapping young lad on this here YouTube.com would suggest, like, making Star Wars better or fixing Star Wars. Which, first of all, Dave didn't even realize it needed fixing. But okay, let's see what I should do. Oh, I should just stop making these projects and start making these other projects. But, like, you're not giving me any advice for, like, what I should change fundamentally about the way they're written and produced, right? You're just telling me make these movies instead and people will like them. I'm like, but like the problem is that, like, if Dave thinks that what he's making is good and that fans are happy with it anyway, then, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, So you need to be explaining to him the ways in which the stuff doesn't work. Right? The stuff that he's making right now, why it doesn't work, why fans are, like, not having it, like, why things need to change, and then explain in good detail how you would go about changing them if you were in his shoes,
Yep.
Which, I mean, again, not to toot our own horn or anything, but, like, I feel like that's kind of what we are doing. We're not specifically addressing Dave Filoni as though he's watching our videos and going, Dave, listen to me. This is how you fix your show. But, like, I feel like if Dave Filoni watched one of my videos and actually genuinely, like, wanted to, like, make his work better and wanted to hear, like, constructive feedback, like that has a much better chance of getting him to change his, like, the way he does things, right? I don't think it would because he's Dave Filoni, but, like, the point I'm making is, like, I at least give him something constructive to build off of. You're giving him nothing.
Yeah, you're just saying make better art. Just do it.
Which, that's nothing. I can't...
Yeah.
Well, also, he's not even saying make better art. He's saying make a better product.
Yeah, make a more appealing product, even. Not even better, just a more appealing. So I'm going to get butts in seats. And Dave is like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm
just trying to riz Ahsoka.
So anyway, this is a really good video so far, I think.
Brand. We see how excited fans get when there's a story they love that is adapted properly. Just look at A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Sticking to the movies, one thing that Disney did that I actually thought worked was the spin-off.
I've been actually questioning that this entire time. Like, I genuinely can't tell. But, like,
I think it's part of the show.
But, like, why? How?
It's one solitary pubic hair that he forgot to brush off.
Is it like the logo is like a stick of dynamite and then, like, that's the fuse or something?
Yeah.
We don't see the full shirt, so maybe it's something, I don't know. I think it's part of the shirt.
Still weird that he's just wearing his own merch. I know that was pointed out earlier, but it's just still weird.
Sheev, when you get that big, what you need to do is just wear, like, market a Sheev onesie and then just wear that in all of your.
What do you mean when I get that big? I'm pretty sure we have, like, the same size channels.
I'm pretty
sure.
Where
the hell's your onesie, bitch?
Bigger than it is.
Yeah, where's your merch, loser?
Oh no, he's up to 170K, so he's got a little bit more than I do. Not that I'm jealous or anything.
150K is the merch point. When you get to 150K, I'm expecting that plushie, and I want my onesie.
That's happening.
It's all Sheev Talk's fault. He's jealous.
Sheev, have you thought about just making your channel more appealing product?
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Like, if Goldman wants to give me advice on how to grow my channel, his best advice would probably be make better videos.
Yeah, just do
What
that.
about pivoting to make
I
your Star Wars
hope you
videos
make
about
better
your brother?
videos.
Make videos
Also, I'm looking
that
at
more
his-
people will want to watch. Oh, okay.
Also, I'm looking at his merch right now, and I can confirm that is not part of the shirt. It's just a string on his shirt, and it's making me
That's-
feel violent.
It's
Did
not.
you not see this at any point and was like, I'm gonna have to redo this, or did you just not give a shit?
He just took the L.
A story they loved that is adapted properly. Just look at A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Sticking to the movies, one thing that Disney did that I actually thought worked was the spin-off movies. Obviously, Rogue One was a big success, and Solo was not, but the fact that Rogue One was a success shows that a spin-off model is a viable option. Like Lucasfilm did with the sequels, split the KOTOR trilogy with spin-off films. I think the Star Wars brand can handle one movie a year. I don't think that's enough to give...
Well, okay, are you advocating for said spin-off films to be like story relevant? Like, I have to watch these to understand the arc that this character from the mainline movies went on, because if that's the case, then it's just not a trilogy anymore. It's just the next installment. It's just a sequel. It's like,
Also, here's the
instead of
thing,
3 movies,
Goldman.
it's 5 movies or 6 movies.
Here's the thing, Goldman. The spin-off
But
films
do you not want the
were
Off
successful.
movie?
Were.
What were you saying, Jolly?
Yeah.
Are you saying you're not going to be excited for the Kanjuras Auto spin-off movie?
Well,
You're gonna be
obviously.
super psyched to see what Claire was doing when she was 18.
I'm just gonna Dr. Robbie this shit, if you know what I'm saying.
People's Star Wars fatigue. Also, there's only going to be 2 spin-off movies, one releasing in 2030 and one releasing in 2032. After KOTOR 3 comes out in 2033, we can take a bit of a break to kind of reset the brand. Now, these spin-off movies can be
Why does he,
related
okay,
to the
that's
old-
another. Why does he keep using quotation marks?
I
He's-
don't
I don't
actually
think-
know.
Because, like, I understand
It's
this
like
is all
that-
hypothetical. You don't have to explain to me like that this isn't really going to happen. I understand that part. Why do you keep putting everything in quotation marks? It's, like, really distracting.
Well, it's like the Princess Bride quote. It's like you keep using that word. I didn't think it means what you think it means. You keep using quotation marks. I don't think it means what you think it means.
You do realize quotation marks have meaning.
I'm just imagining him, like, genuinely. He's in like a Lucasfilm boardroom, right? He's giving this actual pitch to Dave Filoni, and Dave's like, "Okay,
Quotation marks.
stop. Why the fuck do you keep putting them in quotation marks?" He's like, "I don't know. This is just how I need something to do with my hands."
He keeps on he's using CIA like euphemisms for killing. It's like we need to reset the character. We need to change back what was put out of whack.
Are
And,
you
like,
capable of
okay.
speaking
We-
without flapping your hands about?
We need to send
Also-
Boba Fett to Belize.
It's also like deeply stressing me out. He didn't blink once during that whole last clip, and it's like I feel like deeply unsafe right now. Like I feel like he's staring into my soul.
Okay, I feel like we've just been mean now. Let's continue.
Republic or not. The point is that there are so many good ideas that you can choose from any era of Star Wars. Just tell 2
He
good
said good
standalone
ideas,
stories
and then he
between the
showed the
KOTOR
fucking-
movies.
it's
Something for the fans to
bullshit.
enjoy while the trilogy films are being made. Let's now talk about the television front, starting with live action. The thing about the live action shows is that they've largely been unsuccessful. Yes, we had the first
I'm sorry, it's just the way that he keeps delivering his. The thing about the live action shows is that they've been largely
just being mean
unsuccessful. No, it's just funny. I'm not even making fun of him. That's just a really funny way to deliver that whole line. Everything about that is hilarious to me.
Oh, by the way, that little shot of Jason from The Good Place looking at her change the saber color, his expression just sends me. He looks so confused about what the fuck is going on.
It's like
He DGAF.
it's like in Interstellar, where Matthew McConaughey's reaction to Anne Hathaway talking about like love transcended space time. He
The power of
looks
love.
genuinely concerned. Like that's the look
Well,
of someone
yeah.
who's like, we are so fucked.
Someone in chat put it into words. Like, that's why I'm laughing at it.
it.
It's like he sounds like he's trying to be really diplomatic about it. He can't just say these were fucking
Ah,
terrible
yes.
and nobody liked
The
them.
negotiator, gold.
Let's just say,
been waiting for you,
Dave, buddy, if you're watching this movie, let's just say these live action projects you've been working on, Nope, people fucking hate them. That's just to put it bluntly.
I'm sending my apprentice, Darth Vader. He will
These
take
quote
care
unquote
of
live
He will
action products
take
have been quote
care.
unquote largely unsuccessful.
Shall we say, not well received. One might even dare to say they suck.
2 seasons of The Mandalorian, which were great, and of course we
No.
have the 2 seasons of Andor, which are god tier. But besides that, everything has ranged from
Okay, true, but it's one of those things that we were lamenting about just yesterday, Jolly, right? Where it's like, you can't have the standard that's like Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 are great, and then turn around and say that like Andor seasons 1 and 2 are god tier. You know, because like one of these things is not like the others. What is your standard?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, if you have some kind of coherent standard, you would not be able to come to the conclusion that both of these things are good.
Yeah.
And
mid to
or-
Season
awful.
1 is bad, and Season 2 is terrible.
the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, which were great, and of course we have the 2 seasons of Andor, which are god tier. But besides that, everything has ranged from mid to awful. But if you were to do a
So he's not even being diplomatic then. He's just being like, yeah, so like, I'm gonna just put it bluntly here, Dave. Most of your shit is whack. Got a couple of bangers, but most of the shit's dog ass.
So ass.
I'm gonna level.
Abysmal
Dave.
dog
You are-
shit.
You are slot maxing so hard right now.
I have to admit, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Like
that I've
again,
ever seen.
I'm just imagining Dave Filoni watching this video and being like, oh, okay. He's like all dejected.
smaller scale, self-contained show, I think that's how you could have the most success with this kind of show. So I would propose one smaller scale Old Republic related show, and that's it. It can run for multiple seasons, and maybe 1 season a year or every year and a half. People forget that The Mandalorian Season 2 released 11 months after the conclusion of Season 1. It's totally possible for Lucasfilm to pump out 1 season of the same show per year, but they don't for whatever reason. I don't think a live action show is entirely necessary, so yeah, 1 show a year of little consequence. Don't spam 3 shows a year like we did in 2022. That was awful. Now the part
One of those shows was Andor.
Yeah, this logic is baffling me because like the issue is not that there's too many television shows. Like, you do understand, right, that these television shows are going to be by dint of being TV shows are going to have to appeal to more niche audiences than a large tentpole movie has to, right? So just being like, we're going to have this one TV show, and like that'll be the only one. So if it fails, it fails. Like, you're just fucked at that point. Like, I guess you just kill off your TV side of things. You need to like, you know, I'll criticize Netflix to hell and back for most of how they run their business, but the model they used to have of like we'll greenlight a bunch of like crazy, slightly out there stuff and see what sticks is not actually a bad idea. Especially when you're dealing with like more small scale things.
That's how you end up
Yeah.
with like Stranger Things season 1, fucking Arcane. You know, that's how you end up with fucking like most of the Mike Flanagan shows.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's also he used the phrase "pump out," and I'm like, okay, but you're thinking about it again from a corporate perspective. You just want to create as much content as possible to get people in the seats, and I can understand that from a business perspective, but like from an artistic perspective, you're suggesting, oh, you're gonna pump out as much shit as possible. That takes a lot of work.
Pumping
Like,
out
you're gonna
babies.
Yeah.
But it's also bad business, right? Because he's saying we're going to pump out as much of this one flavor as we can. It'd be a bit like, okay, I've got my ice cream business. What are we going to do? It's like, we're going to pump out as much vanilla ice cream as I can per month. Oh, we don't want to expand into like chocolate and strawberry or, I don't know, like lemon sorbet or anything like that. No, just vanilla. We're just going to keep pumping out.
We can clearly only handle one fucking flavor at a time, because if we try to do 3 or 4, you know, then suddenly that's like too much, and we just won't be able to put out as much vanilla. Like,
yeah, people will just be confused by all the different flavors of ice cream that we put out.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
whatever shall I
People
pick?
get People will get overwhelmed by the amount of variety. It'll be too much interesting
Did you-
stuff.
Do you think that Goldman opens a Neapolitan ice cream and just screams?
Yeah, he's like, not strawberry. No,
Just like-
I can't handle it.
He just looks at like 2 different flavors. It's like, this is getting out of hand. No, there are 2 of them.
part of Star Wars that can really elevate the brand is animation. The Clone Wars has arguably had a larger impact on the
That's
Star Wars
weird.
brand than
That was a weird, just like random pause before continuing on to the next.
Too. That was awful. Now, the part of Star Wars that can really elevate the brand is animation. The Clone Wars has
Just got quiet for a second.
pretty,
Just stared at the camera for.
That's
That's like
That was
that skit, that skit from the what's it, the whitest kid, you know where he's like talking about like the thing that's totally illegal to say.
You're
and
totally
just
not allowed to
pauses and looks at
say,
the
"I
camera.
want to kill the president of the United States."
Yeah, like awkward pause. That's illegal. That's totally illegal.
Extremely illegal.
That was-
Extremely illegal.
Yeah, but also kind of, I don't know what point he's going to make about animation. I am generally someone who thinks that like I love animation. I think animation is just one of the coolest art forms that exists. But the problem is that with the business model he's suggesting, that's how you like when you're just pumping out as much of one thing as possible. That's how you get Arcane season 2. That's how you like, and it can look as good as possible, and have as much interesting visuals as possible, which I think Star Wars is actually, it would benefit a lot from that. But when the writing isn't there, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll let him continue.
We'll see what he has to
arguably
say.
had a larger impact on the Star Wars brand than any other live-action show. This was because the show was not only great, but it enhanced an entire era.
Well, no, it's because the
No,
people
it's
who
because
made
Dave
it are
Filoni-
still working on it and
Yeah.
are currently the fucking president of Lucasfilm, and they refuse
Yeah,
to
but
let anything grow past it.
The reason this thing has been so influential is not because of its quality, it's because Dave Filoni got promoted from it into being in charge of a bunch of
Well,
other shit
and
and just can't let it go.
Also,
Yeah,
he
as you
was
said.
literally whining about that just a bit ago, wasn't he? Where he was like, I'm so tired of all Star Wars animation forever being in the shadow of the Clone Wars. And we agree, because that's true. So I don't really understand why he's bringing this up unless it's to say, and that's a bad thing.
To steel man him, I guess he's doing a thing of just being like, the Clone Wars proves that the animation can be influential and important. And I'm like, yeah, I guess.
But the thing is, like, no, it doesn't, because of the reasons we already outlined, right? Of like that's not the reason it's been so influential
I
on
guess
Star Wars.
to try and steel man him again. I guess when you say it's like being influential, it's just like a lot of people sort of like view the prequels more fondly because of the Clone Wars, and like a lot of people grew up with the Clone Wars. They're like a big part of the fan base now. Like like it has had a big impact. Like it's had a bigger impact than like fucking Book of Boba Fett or.
Well, yeah, but like by the same token, I feel like
Resistance.
then if instead of just like a bunch of like Mandoverse bullshit and like Kenobi and the Acolyte and all that, if you had just made like one live action show in 2019 and had that go on for however many years and like kept Star Wars generally in the goodwill, right? Like because the Clone Wars obviously benefited heavily from existing before Disney tanked it to the point where nobody gave a fuck anymore. Then like the Mandalorian or whatever other live action show that was made in 2019 would just be that for the next generation, right? Like what I'm saying is like it's not just that like Clone Wars is the animated show that like proves that animation can be influential. It's like no, it's just that this happened to be like a thing that was happening in Star Wars when by and large there was a Star Wars content dry spell.
This is such an egregious misread of what happened. This is a bit like if someone was like, what was culturally influential about 9/11 was that it was really good television.
Wait, what?
What?
That is okay. Continue.
What?
Well, like the point I'm making is like the reason that the Clone Wars like got so big in terms of popularity and general fan goodwill is because like it was basically the only Star Wars we really had other than like the written material, right? We didn't have movies coming out. We didn't have any of that shit. So like the fans who grew up with it had that and kind of nothing else until obviously like Rebels and Disney stuff came along. Whereas like again, if you had just made like The Mandalorian, and then like that was basically it, and like for the most part like there just wasn't that much of a content output for Star Wars aside from like I guess the sequel trilogy, which had ended or was about to end by the time The Mandalorian started, then like that's what The Mandalorian would have been for the next generation.
That was what The Mandalorian was until they pumped out like the Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi,
Yeah,
and all this other crap.
they oversaturated it.
Like-
But the point I'm making is that like if it had just been like generally the same quality as like Mando season 1, which is like fine, it's like mediocre, and they just did that for like several seasons, just like with the Clone Wars, and there was nothing else coming out from Star Wars at the time, then it would have had probably the same like general goodwill and popularity as the Clone Wars does these days. So the point I'm making is that it's not that it was like It's not like, Clone Wars doesn't prove that animation can be influential. It just proves that, like, when Star Wars is in a pretty big dry spell, fans are going to latch on to whatever's there and grow up with that and love that, Because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Prequel era. Now, I'm going to propose an idea that I think a lot of people would initially be against, but hear me out because if done well, I think it could really help the brand. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of these Star Wars AI videos. They're mostly fan films you can...
I'm already against this
No.
if you're about to say what I think you're about to say, but okay.
If you say what I think you're about to say, I vote we hunt you down and kill you.
Yeah.
Well, it's like he would not have
saying.
prefaced this part of the video with that if he wasn't about to say what I think he's about to say. So,
All right.
I'm
Let's bite that bullet.
I'm deploying my secret army to hunt you down.
All right,
he
no,
hunted down and defeated.
Defeated.
find
Right.
on YouTube. While they are kind of just slop, they do have an audience.
do you mean, kind
and
of?
You can get an idea of what some fans would like to see. I recently watched an AI recreation of Duel of the Fates. For those of you who don't know, Duel of the Fates is an alternate version of The Rise of Skywalker that was almost made by Disney before the director was fired. In the comments, you see a lot of people saying, "I have never been a Rey fan until I saw this," or "This is how Rey should have been as a Jedi," or even, "Despite how abysmal the previous two films were, I feel like this would have single-handedly saved the trilogy." This has led me...
Sorry, can I just...
I'm just appalled.
Really? Is he really
Like-
saying that we should use AI to make fucking Star Wars content?
Or even just
really
to
making
gauge
that-
like general audience interest, right? Because I think that's what he's trying to argue.
Before we get into the AI, I just want to quickly respond to the comments saying this would have saved it. Colin Trevorrow would not Duel of the Fates. From what I've read of the script, is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I do not trust Colin Trevorrow to improve it. This is the man who made the Jurassic World trilogy. The Jurassic World trilogy is just as bad as the sequel trilogy. It's dog shit.
I just want to address the point I think he's just made though. Because again, I don't think he's saying we should use AI, but as Sheev just said, what he's saying is we should use the AI creations to gauge public interest in particular projects. And I'm like, so you want to the focus group who you want directing the future of Star Wars are the kinds of people who will unironically like AI slop.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people you want steering the ship of your giant billion-dollar IP.
Holy fuck, dude! Why would you make this argument?
Oh god,
Yeah, well,
he should have
guys,
made this because now
perhaps
I'm
we
just gonna.
treated Filoni too harshly.
Well, because Sam, you were saying we were being bullies before. I'm going to be so much meaner now. I'm going to be so cruel to him.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to.
You
should not have given me this ammunition.
I want to say it on record. I did not know about this beforehand. This was before the AI.
The thing is okay, I see, again, he's doing the corporate brain, how do we appeal to the most amount of people? And he's assuming that, if we just, gauge what people are saying from, these AI videos, right? We're gonna get a general impression of, what people want to see out of Star Wars going forward. And I'm like, I don't even think you need to necessarily use, that as, your sample group, right? You could literally just, ask people. I don't know. There's plenty of people talking about what they want.
I mean, if you want to use a sample group to direct, first of all, I just hate the concept of focus groups directing art in general, because that's been generally proven to be a terrible idea. But even if that's what you want to go for, we're going to try and find the average punter and get their opinion. Going to the people who like AI slop is a bit I joked about that. That he's going to go and do the food chain of social media and go to the 8chan movie. But unironically, the kinds of people who are going to comment on AI slop being like, "Oh, this would have made me like Rey," are the kinds of people you're going to find haunting 4chan and 8chan. That is now the group you're going to have directing the future of your franchise. Oh, I'd have liked Rey if she was in a bikini and had 4 lightsabers. Really?
Bigger boobs.
That's okay.
Didn't talk.
Yeah, it would
Fit
literally
as
be
white now.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, it would literally be going to the depths of Twitter and being like, "Hey, Grok, tell me what would make Star Wars good." What do you mean?
Yeah, this whole I see where you're going with this, Goldman, and I'm not happy. But all right, let's hear you out.
To believe that
I'm
if
not
done
happy, Bob.
properly, people could be open to seeing these characters again. Star Wars fans as a whole have not opened themselves to this possibility, but again, if done right and through animation, I think a lot of fans would give this a chance. What I would greenlight is a Clone Wars style show.
Wait, so is the entire point of the reason he brought up the AI videos just to basically be like, I watched an AI video where Rey was a badass, and it proved that some people were actually down for Rey to be a character as long as she was well written? Is that the entire point? You didn't have to bring up AI for that.
As long as she wasn't a character.
He wanted to move. He moved away. I thought he was saying he wanted to move away from Clone Wars shit. He just said he wants to do more Clone Wars
Yeah,
shit.
he just said he's about to pitch a fucking Clone Wars style Rey story. So let's see what that looks like.
Show set right after the rise of Skywalker. This show can rehab the characters of the sequels to be much more interesting and likable. And the show could also introduce a handful of new characters for people to love. I think if the show was styled like an anthology series like the Clone Wars with multiple arcs a season, fans wouldn't scream if 1 or 2 arcs a season were about Rey or Finn. Hell, you can even adapt the Duel of the Fates script loosely into one of these animated arcs. If fans can get through Jar Jar episodes in the Clone Wars Season 1, they can handle an arc about Rey. Clone Wars Anakin is much different compared to movie Anakin. Why can't a hypothetical show about the sequels do the same with Rey?
That's... So you're, unironically, what you're advocating for is basically just, what if I fundamentally change what this character is so that the fanboys stop getting mad about her? And that's how we make her palatable. Because that's what Anakin was in the Clone Wars. I know everyone fucking loves Clone Wars Anakin, even though he's completely out of character. But like that's what he was. They fundamentally changed him to become more palatable to audiences who didn't like him in the prequels.
I will give you this. I prefer Clone Wars Anakin over movie
I like
Anakin,
him as a character.
Completely different character.
I like him as a character. It's like literally what he's advocating for right now is bring back Rey, but like basically just like cling to all the demands of the fanboys who didn't like her in the sequel trilogy. Just completely bow to their wishes and change her completely. Fuck off.
The thing again where he's like he wants to make like Star Wars, piss off nobody. That's how you get Stranger Things 5. That's how you get these products that nobody likes because they're trying to appeal to everyone. That's literally what he's suggesting. Like make something that like tone it down so that you won't piss anybody off. And that is such a coward argument.
But there's also
coward bullshit.
There's literally no reason to fundamentally change Rey in order to make her likable because like she's such a blank slate as a character because they've done nothing with her. You could just create a character for her, basically, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to fundamentally change anything. This is bullshit.
Give her some new personality traits that we never saw in the movies. It's the perfect way to rehab these characters. I also think the lore of the sequels is really interesting, but no one would know because none of that is in the movies. You can...
Okay, but he's like, I think it's so interesting. It's not there, but I think it's interesting.
It's not that. It's hypothetical, but no, he's talking about like from the books or whatever. But it's still like no.
Aftermath. That's probably what he's talking about. I haven't read Aftermath.
Aftermath is terrible.
I like some of the things from it. Right. Yeah, like I'm just assuming the external media around the sequel trilogy is broken because it's just a foundation.
They also, in the 2020 Vader comic run, made the mistake of trying to tie that in with the Rise of Skywalker by having Vader visit Exegol and find Palpatine's secret clone lab and the 1,000 Star Destroyers being built.
Oh yeah, isn't that there's like Snoke is implied to have been cloned from Luke's hand.
Yeah. You're like, okay, man.
Off.
That's what I'm saying, is like the written material around the sequel trilogy only serves to make an already broken story worse because they're trying to fix it and they end up fucking it up even more and then retroactively fucking up things from the original stuff. Like now Vader knows about Exegol, so why the fuck didn't he ever tell Luke about it? Whereas like, the written material around the prequels only elevated the general love for the prequels because like the prequels weren't completely broken as a foundation. You were able to write stories that actually made sense and didn't fuck with anything.
Easily do some light retconning.
Sorry, what?
I was just saying, to reiterate, the issues with the prequels was not the foundation. It was not the world building in it could have been developed better in those films, but it was generally solid. The issues were more so the individual plots and characters.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, with the sequels, is just the main, obviously the plots and characters are also
well,
bad.
again,
worse than those, but like the main issue is a fundamentally broken foundation. It makes nothing that's happening in those films makes any sense.
But again, it's
at any
not
point.
even just like the world building or whatever that's broken and that like you can't really branch out of meaningfully, but it's also like, again, with the prequels there's the character work that's there, and it's thin in a lot of places, and a lot of it's truncated in ways that it really shouldn't be. You know, a lot of stuff to do with like Anakin's arc and turning to the dark side or whatever, but like it's there, and you know, artists can then take what's there and build off of that in ways that are really good. And there's a lot of books and comic stuff, like again from the Clone Wars multimedia project, that take the characterization of Anakin and really explore like the depths of his psyche and like the, you know, the ins and outs of like why he killed the Tuskens and how that makes him feel and all these different things, and his relationship with Obi-Wan.
Revenge of the Sith novelization.
All these things, yeah, the Revenge of the Sith novelization. It's not just the world building, it's the character stuff. But then you think about the sequels, right? And you're like, okay, well, what do I do with like the character of Finn? What they've set up for him character-wise is really interesting in The Force Awakens. The whole like brainwashed stormtrooper who defected, but like obviously would recognize that the other stormtroopers are victims too and want to help them. But unfortunately, the rest of the sequels fucked that. The Force Awakens fucked it up too. But like the entire rest of his characterization is completely broken because of that. So now you task me with writing a Finn story post Episode 9. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? I can't use the stormtrooper conflict because the films broke it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, he said something about, like, in this clip, he just said light retconning. What do you mean by light retconning?
I'm gonna back it up here. What do you got
to rehab these characters. I also think the lore of the sequels is really interesting, but no one would know because none of that is in the movies. You can easily do some light retconning with this show. Say the war with the First Order is not over after the Rise of Skywalker, and instead of it being Rebels versus Empire 2.0, have the Resistance become a much more formidable force, and overall the war is a lot more even, giving this era a bit more of a...
Well, basically what you're advocating for at this point is for like a definitive stance to be taken on how resourceful like both sides of the war are, which the sequels refuse to agree upon or like establish in any way. But also, I don't even necessarily know if the Rise of Skywalker established that the First Order was defeated. Like, I think it's trying to imply as much, but like what actually happened is they introduced a new villainous faction that's independent from the First Order, but like in tandem with it, and then had those guys get defeated. So like, it kind of doesn't ever address if the First Order is still around or what they're getting up to. I don't even think you would have to call that light retconning. I think you just have to be like, I guess the First Order still exists. Interesting that they weren't defeated in the final film of the trilogy.
Like they show their ships like falling from like other planets.
Yeah, you see fucking over Endor, the fucking Ewoks are watching someone pull a Holdo maneuver on a First Order Star Destroyer, which is like, fuck off, man.
Is that move 1 in a million?
Shut up. Fuck off.
I like
So
the idea
garbage.
that like in his proposed reboot of this universe, like in 4 years' time, we're gonna get a movie where the title crawl is just like, from the ashes of the final order, the sinister First Order have risen again.
But also the concept of quote-unquote light retconning would just introduce more world-building problems, because it's like, oh, you're just saying that didn't happen in previous... Or maybe not that didn't happen, but it happened differently.
Well,
okay, but then everything that came out of that would be different.
He's kind of
You're just
proving
making more problems.
He's kind of proving why the sequels are fundamentally something you can't really build off of, because in order to do that, you'd have to basically just point to something from the movies and go, ignore that, that didn't happen, don't worry about that, we're going to do this thing instead. Because that's what you'd have to do for any of it to make sense or to work in any way.
Yeah, exactly.
So just...
And also, he said that he didn't want to like do a sequel like wipe, where he's like, I don't want to just ignore the sequels, and I was like, okay, but now you're just saying you kind of have to. Like, you have to ignore what happened in the sequels if you want to make something coherent.
No, Bagel, you just have to slightly tweak them and do some light retconning. That's okay.
I
okay.
actually think
They're
you
just
should.
fixer upper.
I think that you should die, Sheev. I think that would be the best way for the stream to end.
It's weird to even like pitch the idea of like, you know, retconning it so that the First Order is still around and like, you know, we're continuing that conflict. It's like, why not just do a different villainous faction for some post sequel story? Why not just like have it be something else, you know?
Yeah.
Or even if you're a clever enough writer, it doesn't have to be some external threat. It could just be, how do we rebuild the galaxy again after the fucking First Order wiped out the New Republic. You know, what government can we establish, since apparently the New Republic failed spectacularly in literally every way? Where do we go from here? But the answer is like, I don't know, because what the fuck do I even, like, what do you as a writer even try to do at that point without it just being redundant and pointless, you know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
And-
but the only thing you can realistically do there politically is just be like the galaxy enters what is effectively like a dark age, right, where there is no central political government. There's like one that's got most of the galaxy. It's like small pockets of like confederated planets and like, you know, tens or dozens, maybe even hundreds, maybe even thousands of like political entities just doing their own thing, and the galaxy's just kind of fallen apart as a cohesive entity for the next like 1,000 years.
That actually could
Because
be
why
kind of
on earth would
interesting.
anyone ever trust the central government again?
That could be kind of
That'd be
interesting, but I'd
interesting.
want you to set this story like hundreds of years into the future, just to be like, look, that's what happened in the aftermath of that bullshit story that we don't want to think about ever again. This is the state
I
of the
just realised
galaxy
that's
now.
I'm basically advocating for them to do to Star Wars what the new Avatar
I was
thing
about
is
to
going
say
to do
that.
to the legacy of Korra. Like, oh yeah, Korra actually ended up destroying. Well, now like the entire planet is fucked, and the new Avatar is like a figure of hate, and no one wants to hear about them.
Well, yeah, but you kind of have to do that.
I was just about to make that joke.
But you're right that you have to do that, because it's like, yeah, who the fuck is gonna like, like the Resistance is like, oh, we're gonna establish a new republic. It's like, I don't care anymore. The last one sucked, and then the First Order came back, and I just don't care anymore. You know, we're gonna take our resources and we're gonna be independent, and you can fuck off. You know, like the fact of the matter is that like the New Republic would have already had enough of a time, a whale of a time, trying to establish a centralized government after the fall of the Empire and trying to rally all the worlds back together and trying to get like make something cohesive and unified. That just isn't happening again. And if some post Rise of Skywalker story tried to do that, I'd just be like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Someone in chat said, "What if this new First Order that would rise because what we were talking about earlier says, what if they were Ewoks, all hell bent on revenge for what the second Death Star did to their homeworld?"
It turns out the Ewoks are actually the descendants of the Rakata, and they just like rebuild their empire.
Ewok Empire is actually a great concept.
I'd love to see it.
It's beautiful.
Unique identity. And again, since this is an animated show, if people still don't like the idea of sequel trilogy related stuff, they can just ignore it. The Old Republic will be the face of this era of Star Wars. These kinds of fans have so many other things they can turn to. So I think one...
I kind of like the idea that like the ultimate idea he's going for here is just like make a bunch of stuff that's ultimately inconsequential and means nothing. That's how you save
just
Star
make
Wars.
Slop. Yeah.
Season a year of
Slop.
this Clone Wars-esque sequel trilogy show that maybe runs for 3, 4, or 5 seasons can really help Star Wars. It would be pretty low risk and honestly high reward if you can manage to properly save these characters. Now, if the sequel
You say low
trilogy show
risk,
did
but like
become...
animation is expensive to make, right? Like, you know, let's not beat around the bush here. To produce 5 seasons of let's say like Arcane style like heights of animation, it's going to cost you a fuck ton of money.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
not low
Arcane-
risk.
yeah.
If it fails,
Like Arcade Season 1 was like nearly 100 mil. 90 million?
Yeah.
Season 2 was 160 million. Like the entirety
Jesus.
of Arcane cost as much as like a feature film. It is not easy to create good animation, and that's something I don't think he's like, let's
Like-
just do animation. It's easy.
Like,
No,
for
it's not.
reference- For reference, chat, like 160 mil is like roughly the budget of like the first Iron Man film. So, you know, a season for a season of animation, like you're still pumping in, you're still like that's still like the amount for like one blockbuster. Like it's not cheap.
Well, and the other thing that people don't understand, and I know some about this because I have some friends who like do graphic design and art and even animation. Animation is hard. Animation takes a long time. Animation, to do animation, you really have to be like a master of the craft of visual arts, and it's hard to do in a way that will appeal to general people. And he's like, oh, let's just put it out. Okay, but you have to write a good show. You have to make good animation. You have to make it appealable to people who are, you know, who see animation as a valid art form. And it's not an easy task. It's simplifying it a lot.
I was just imagining they end up doing like a Star Wars version of Wallace and Gromit, like claymation. Just like
I would watch that. I would watch that. I would watch that.
plasticine Ray carving her way through like little model stormtroopers.
Yeah, like I think even like an episode of like The Simpsons or Family Guy. I think I saw a report that like one episode of Family Guy costs like $1 million to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money.
No, guys, I got it. The new villain for like this new era of Star Wars is the Feathers McGraw order, just the order of
Yeah,
He's the new enemy.
Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember the intro trailer that like teased Thrawn for Star Wars Rebels back in the day?
Yeah.
Where they have like oh, we're facing a new commander, and they just have this like guy in shadows like slowly stepping out, and like just do that but with Feathers McGraw in Star Wars.
Just like all his stormtroopers just have like the fucking gloves on top of their helmets.
Yeah. If anyone in chat suggests, I know like the chat is very anti AI, which I appreciate. If anyone in chat suggests making it with AI, I will kill you with a bomb. I will destroy you.
Yes.
I will annihilate you.
I'm fully behind her on this one, so don't come running to me for help. Before we continue, I'm going to read off the super chats that we've gotten in the meantime, and once again promote the GoFundMe, which you can find linked in the description or pinned to the live chat at the top there. The reason we're doing the stream at all is to help out my friend Logan. He's someone that I know in real life and who is like my best friend, and he's been going through a lot of financial troubles recently. So please, do what you can to help. Donate if you have the spare change and you want to give it to someone who needs it, or just share it around if you can't. Just anything you can do. And with that, BZ Music YT for €2 said, "Hey Sheev crew, thoughts on the full Bane trilogy?" I think the Bane trilogy is pretty good. I think that it is unfortunately kind of centrist with its political messaging in a lot of ways, which isn't great, but like it generally works for like the characters who are discussing it, right? Like they, certain people who like they don't give a fuck who's fighting the war or like what side is supposedly righteous, because at the end of the day they're the ones taking the brunt of it. So it makes sense that they'd have these perspectives. I just wish that the show, or like the books rather, would take a more firm stance and stop trying to be like, oh, the Jedi and the Republic are also engaging in this war, which makes them just as bad as the Sith, who go around slaughtering and murdering and raping and pillaging and all these different things that they're doing. But, those are my general thoughts. I like him. I like the character of Bane. I think he's pretty interesting. I'm not going to get into it here, but I do think I've actually discussed this a little bit already on my Phantom Menace video, but I do think that the Bane story, as it's written in those books, does present a massive plot hole when compared to the Phantom Menace. So do with that what you will.
Oh, for just how do the Jedi know about the rule of two?
Mm. And I think there's like a comic where they try to account for that, and it doesn't make any sense. But that's neither here nor there anyway, because the Bane trilogy still fucked it up a little bit, just a wee tad. Bullet Andy for $5 says, "Do you think that if things just don't get better for you, at what point would you consider to no longer talk about Star Wars if most will be bad?" Well, I'm going to continue doing that indefinitely because it's my job, and I do still enjoy doing that, even if the stuff I'm talking about is terrible. My investment personally, went out a long time ago, but like the last thing was, of course, Andor, and that ended last year. So, but I am going to cover Star Wars for the foreseeable future, at least until I finish this whole like big series I've been doing of covering every Star Wars movie, which is going to take several more years still. I have it planned out till 2033. Reginald Schrute for $5. "If I drew you a crappily drawn profile picture, would you use it for a future stream? Not today, obviously." Yeah, sure. I think that'd be fun. I might even use it just forever going forward if I think it's funny enough. So, do what you're gonna do, Reginald. Mr. Simps 12 for $5 says, "Thanks to Andrew Spurs for $50, Anthony Critelli for $15, and an anonymous donator for $10 for donating to Logan's cause." Yes, thank you very much. Thank you to
Yes,
everyone who
thank you,
has
thank you,
donated,
thank
and
you.
again, thank you to everyone who is or will or wants to. And then lastly, another one from Bullet Andy for $5. What do you think of Troy Dennings? As whenever I hear about how he took over the book side of the EU post New Jedi Order, is that he's a worse version of Filoni? I don't think I'd go that far. He's not worse than Filoni, but he does unfortunately fuck up a lot of the characters in ways that are quite devastating. So he's not much better. I don't like a lot of the stuff he's made, and I think that if he were to do, like, if I were to recommend the post Return of the Jedi EU timeline, I would say stop after New Jedi Order. Just don't bother. Legacy of the Force, fuck off. I don't care. Don't get into it. That business in Legacy of the Force doesn't count. Or Dark Nest. Ugh. And that's all
Someone
of
in
them.
chat said it. Someone in chat said, "Is the covering of every movie plan accounting for the Family Guy versions?"
Well,
I'll have to ask
obviously,
Catherine
yeah.
You have to invite Catherine for those.
And then before we continue, I'm just going to step away for 2 minutes and refill my drink. I will be right back.
We will just bitch about Sheev while he's gone. What a terrible,
Yeah.
grifting, cringe man.
What a
I know.
twat.
He promised me
What
that
an
when he hit
absolute-
100K, he was going to become a shameless right-wing grifter, and that has not happened. I'm very offended by that personally.
Yeah, I'm offended by how he kept his standards and didn't sell out.
Yeah,
I think
I
he
know.
sold out his standards by not selling out.
Yeah.
Where's the dick sucking, bro?
Well,
I'm not
he's a
seeing
Star
it.
Wars. He's a Star Wars commentary YouTuber. You'd think he would sell out his morals at least once.
True.
Anyone
God,
watching The
morals
Pit?
are gay.
Yes, it's good.
I have been watching The Pit, yeah. I think Pit Twitter might be one of the funniest things I've seen in a very long time.
But the problem is with discourse about shows like The Pit. I don't know. It's not that I find discourse about good shows bad, like inherently bad, but discourse about good shows can often range into just like nitpicky bullshit, as opposed to pointing out legitimate flaws. It's like, well, I think Dr. Robbie is ugly, and I'm like, okay, well, you're just this is not an argument. You're just saying shit.
It's the Langdon Santos factions that have been really winding me up because like both sides are just completely like idiotic and just refuse to accept any kind of nuance in either character.
Yeah.
I need to watch The Pit. It's on my list, but I've just got a bunch of stuff I need to watch. I still haven't watched Night to Seven Kingdoms yet, and I want to watch that.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, the thing with that is like that can just be dipped into whenever you want because all the episodes are really short and there's not many
Yeah.
of them, and it's very like easy going.
Which is why I want to watch it. It sounds good. Sounds like
Yeah.
right up my alley.
I do think it's kind of funny. I mean, funnily enough, I think in Night of the Seven Kingdoms is kind of what Goldman is trying to preach, where it's like, how do you gain good favor back for such a widely for a thing that is so widely maligned in the current culture, where it's like, yeah, you just do something something kind of low stakes, and it actually paid off. But because the thing he doesn't understand is the writing, but the writing of Night of the Seven Kingdoms is good. So
This is the third time
Yeah.
we've had to resuscitate the Game of Thrones franchise, and we've become exceedingly efficient at it.
yeah,
The thing that bothers me though about that discussion about Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like he's like, yeah, it is low stakes, yeah, it's easy going, yeah, the characters are quote unquote simpler in the sense of like, Dunk is a simple man, Egg is a child. There's a lot to be said for like it's much less complex in that way. But people going like, oh, I finally like a Game of Thrones or a modern show that's like non-political. And I'm like, if you watched A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and didn't see any politics in it, I don't know what to tell you. You're not seeing the story.
yeah, that's you're if you don't understand the politics of Game of Thrones, you might just be dumb. Like you might just not be very.
It's that thing of like being queer baited by what show was it? Like it's not Stranger Things, but like being queer baited by Marvel movies, like being beaten in,
Losing a
in
chest
chest
to a dog.
by a dog. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like the political equivalent of that argument. It's like if you don't understand the politics of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, you are the kind of person who loses checkers to dogs.
Yeah. I think that actually, you know what I think would fix Star Wars? Queer baiting. I think that would make it so
We've
much better.
already had that. We've had Shin and Sabine.
Oh, and we also had Finn and Poe, kind of, but
Yeah,
I
but then
think
you abandoned
Star
that.
Wars needs more queer baiting.
Well, the thing is, like, being gay doesn't sell, especially in like, foreign countries. But being lesbian, well, all men everywhere love that, so we can
Yeah.
sell that.
Well, yes. Well, yes.
Yes.
And look, I'm not immune to it. Shin is really hot. It's just I think it makes no fucking sense to ship her with Sabine, and it actively angers me that they're doing that.
You're just not woke enough, Jolly. You just don't understand it. You need to be a level 10 woke to get that ship.
Yeah, I need to get my platinum badge in wokeness.
I will say, at a maximum, he said, I don't think any of Star Wars has intentional queer baiting. I would
Oh, boy.
disagree. I would disagree.
Oh boy.
It's very no homo, but that's what queer baiting is, you know. It's like dangling the possibility of gay representation. But then they go, oh, no homo. That is also what queer baiting is. That's what Supernatural did constantly. So.
Well, yeah, especially because like it's not just like what's in the show. Although I think there is a lot of just there is just a lot of like in things in the Ahsoka show that do like unfortunately do set up the idea that like, oh, we are going to be putting these characters together in some form or another. But also like the marketing around it and the way they've gotten the two actresses to attend events in certain ways, and the certain the kind of behind the scenes they put out, like they are very much leaning into the chemistry that the two actresses have off screen to be like, oh, see, Shin and Sabine. It was the same with like, obviously this isn't queer baiting, but this is just the same with the shipping discussion about like Kylo Ren and Rey. Like that was very clearly something that they were leaning into off the back of like a bunch of fans becoming invested in that as an idea, and then obviously Rise of Skywalker had the kiss.
Yeah, and also, yeah, like ship baiting, and it's not just queer baiting. Like there is ship baiting. Someone said that Judy Hopps and Nick from fucking Zootopia was the first case of straight baiting, and I was like, that's correct. But anyway, but anyway, my point is that like a lot of queer baiting also happens in marketing. So, and Jolly can probably attest to this better than I can about the Shin and Sabine ship, but it's typically it's not always done within the product. It's often just done like with behind the scenes shit and with trailers and with editing, etc., etc.
Well, yeah, because the thing with queer baiting is that it's very rarely a show's intention to start off queer baiting two characters. What normally happens is like two characters get shipped by the shipping culture, online shipping culture, and then the creators take notice and go, "Ooh, we can lean into that from a marketing perspective and like sell it on the strength of the ship." And then that's what happens. They just increasingly like we had this discussion when we were doing the Stranger Things stream about like whether or not Will and Mike were intended to be shipped together from the get-go, and I was like, no, obviously not. Like I don't think that was ever a thing they intended to do. But like by the time of season 3, when the online discussions about that ship had really set sail, they clearly had sat up and taken notice.
Yeah, it's just a very insidious marketing tactic that's used by companies. They say, oh, people see the potential for this ship and this gay relationship, so we're gonna like have them have little moments that keep them watching. It's very. I will say it's not as common as people think. Like shonen anime is not queer baiting, like typically, but like Marvel movies sometimes do it. But it's a very intentional practice, is what I'll say. It's not something that happens by accident.
Yeah, that's why Goldman is being queer baited with his Master Chief helmet. I've decided.
I feel like every time Bagel is on stream, there ends up being a tangent about queer baiting, just no matter what.
Yeah. Someone in chat said,
I'll tell you why that is, Ashiv. It's because
queer baiting.
Well, it's actually that's because you and I are queer baiting your audience. That's why.
Yeah.
She's just bringing a meta awareness to what's going on, I think.
Yeah, well, I think you guys are actually one of the more insidious examples of queer baiting. Like you're doing it to your audience constantly.
And we know we're doing it, and we're telling them that we're doing it, and we're still just gonna keep going.
Someone in chat said we're John Lennon and Paul McCartney queer baiting. Yes, they were.
I think the worst aspect of it is that I'm queer baiting Jolly too. Like he thinks that this is gonna go somewhere, and it's not.
I know.
When you say I think it's gonna go somewhere, that might be because I'm locked in your basement and haven't been allowed to see the.
Yeah.
Potato.
Or Sheev actually has Jolly chained to his radiator in his basement, which is queer baiting, in my opinion.
Well, I did have to bait him with a little slice of cheese underneath a box, so in the truest sense of the word. Anyway,
popular, what Lucasfilm should do is finally make the Ben Solo movie as one of the two
Oh
spin-off films.
no!
Literally seconds after I just said, oh my god.
Oh no!
So,
No!
person in chat who said that the shipping baiting never happens in Star Wars.
Exhibit A.
Me when I'm in the worst possible ideas I could possibly come up with competition, and my opponent is a gold man. Oh, why? Why?
If you missed the news lately, Lucasfilm and Adam Driver himself wanted to make a Ben Solo movie.
That looks AI.
Yeah, that does not look real.
Yeah. Also, I don't believe for a second that he actually wanted to make a Ben Solo movie. I think he's quite happy having moved on from Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
where he would likely be resurrected. It was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, but the Disney execs, most specifically Bob Iger, shot it down. Kylo Ren's death really breaks my heart every time I think about it, so I personally want them to make this movie. And if
Skill
this movie
issue.
came out in 2030 or
So I okay, because again, you're the president of Lucasfilm, right? I personally like the character Kylo Ren and therefore want his death to be undone because I want to see more Kylo Ren. That is literally.
Hello, Dave.
No one's ever really gone.
You really are putting yourself in the mindset of the Lucasfilm president, aren't you? Holy.
What we
Gold
want
man
was
we
actually Ben
trust.
Solo.
2032,
Oh,
that would be
boy.
so far removed from the Rise of Skywalker in 2019 that I think people would be open to seeing him again. So that is why I think Lucasfilm
just
should make a
inexplicably
sequel
13
trilogy
years
animated
older.
show. Now, another part of Star Wars animation that Lucasfilm has never really dabbled with that they absolutely should is animated Star Wars movies. Besides the Clone Wars movie, we have not gotten an animated Star Wars movie before. I hate
The animated Clone Wars movie should tell you why they shouldn't make animated
Well,
movies.
okay. No, I actually agree with him on this front. Like, I'd like to see more,
Yeah.
like, 90-minute Star Wars animated films. They don't even necessarily need to be canon, right? Just, like, a little 2D,
Yeah.
like, kind of almost Disney style, just, like, 90-minute animated movies that are just kind of telling little Star Wars stories.
Yeah.
The issue with the Clone Wars movie wasn't because it was animated, it was because it wasn't
It was
meant to be a
badly
movie.
animated, for one.
Yeah.
That's one of the many issues with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be a movie. It was literally the pilot episodes stitched together.
Yep.
What are you talking about? It gave
also
us
doesn't
My
help that-
Beloved Rose of the Heart.
Yes.
Yes, true. And also, said story was also just bad.
But no, like, on its face, I agree with him. Like, yeah,
No.
give us some, like, Star Wars animated films. I'd like to see those.
Yeah, no, I do actually
The
think that's a
Hunt for
fair
Rose of the
argument.
Heart.
That's just what this new movie is going to be.
Yeah, that is the Grogu movie, actually.
True.
the tale
Which is like, again, it's just basically a spiritual sequel to the Clone Wars movie and like, it's got the same general premise and is made by the same people and is kind of the same kind of thing of like basically just episodes of the TV show stitched together. Like, it's the same thing. It's just the same thing.
Winning formula.
I wanna see-
Winning formula.
I want to say com.
Dave Filoni's career coming full circle.
tales of shows, like Tales of the Jedi or Tales of the Empire.
Oh, that looks so
sure, there
bad.
are some good stories there, but the reason I hate them so much is because Lucasfilm should stop making these and just make animated movies instead. If you add up the runtimes of each of these shows, which is 6 mini episodes, it adds up to about an hour and a half. Again, just use these resources to make an animated movie once a year. Imagine if instead of getting 3 animated shorts about Morgan Elsbeth, we got an animated adaptation of the Darth Plagueis novel. In fact, what they could
He's kind of spitting there because again, I've been advocating for that for years, right? Like, the thing about the like if they did an adaptation of the Darth Plagueis novel is like, there's part of me that wants it to be animated, but also like I'd love to see that done in live action, like an Andor style live action adaptation
Ian
of.
McDermott. We get Ian McDermott.
Well, no,
back.
because he's a bit old.
Yeah, it's too
For
old. Yeah.
like, Palpatine is like a young man in most of that story, or you could just de-age him because that's all the rage.
Hell yeah.
do
Yeah, they
is
did that with
just
Matthew
use these
Modine.
animated 3 animated shorts about Morgan Elsbeth, we got an animated adaptation of the Darth Plagueis novel. In fact, what they could do is just use these animated movies to adapt any of the old EU novels into the canon. I feel like this is a no-brainer. Why am I thinking of better ideas than Lucasfilm? If they were to do this...
Okay, buddy. Okay.
Okay.
Sit down now. Take a nap.
Actually,
Well, yeah, like
I'm
blowing your
gonna
own
be
trumpet
real.
aside, it's also like. Go on, Sam.
Like, I'm just gonna say, I was just about to say, Joe, just like, nah, bro, you'll actually slot right into Lucasfilm.
Why am I coming up with better ideas? Fuck you, man.
Sit
Shut
down,
up.
buddy.
Well, yeah, like again, so not only is he blowing his own trumpet, and that's kind of distasteful, but it's like so a second ago, because I do agree with you, Chief. Like, you know, the Darth Plagueis novel, an adaptation of that would be cool, but he's not coming at that from the perspective of like, this is a great story that, you know, could be told in a new medium to appeal to an audience who maybe haven't read the book, because you know a book is kind of niche, right? At least to a lot of Star Wars fandom. So there's an actual artistic reason to say to adapt it. He's just going like, hey, you remember all those stories that sold really well back in the day? We could dig them up for a second bite of the apple. I'm like, again, what is this mentality?
It's the corporate slop mentality where you just want to make as much as possible.
I also love how he started out this video being like, this is an address to Dave Filoni, and like I want him to genuinely take these, you know, these ideas into consideration for like going forward for Star Wars. And then like now we're toward the end, and he's like smugly going like, I can't believe I'm just such a better ideas guy than you guys. Like, again, imagine you're Dave Filoni watching this. I'd just be like, okay, man, fuck you.
Am I better than everyone?
I think I'm better than you, Dave.
I am better.
I am better.
The thing is, like, obviously, considering that I think Dave Filoni is not a very good writer, just generally not a very good creative, obviously I consider myself to be better than at least Dave Filoni in terms of creative prowess, right? But I don't just smugly, like at the end of my Ahsoka video, go, I can't believe I'm such a better writer than you, Dave, idiot. Like, what? Ew. That's so, I just didn't like that. I think I will, actually. I think that's actually really funny.
And as we all know, seeing as I'm a better writer than Dave Filoni.
No, I just end it with like that Simpsons clip of like the guy smacking the kid on the head, and he was like, "That's how you write an ending."
Lucasfilm should probably just
Star Wars
release
story, which was the fashion at the time.
which was the style at the time.
these animated movies on Disney Plus, so it helps the platform. Once a year, Star Wars fans should get this: one 8-episode live-action season of TV, an animated movie on Disney Plus, 16 episodes of an animated TV show, and to finish the year in December, a live-action Star Wars movie. Routine is so important and so underrated. Imagine, again, if every May we got an animated movie, every August we got an animated TV show, and then in December we got the live action movie. That would give fans so much excitement and momentum, and the fandom hasn't really had that since 2020. So those are my ideas on how I would
stop editing your videos like that. Ew.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the second time he's used that word momentum in this way, and I'm like, I don't think you understand, friend, that there's different kinds of momentum, right? Because, you know, arguably, there was momentum going up to Rise of Skywalker. It was just that momentum was the one of a runaway train that's going off the rails. The idea of just we have forward motion in our franchise doesn't actually mean that people are excited to see what you do next. Unless you mean in the kind of morbid sense of, I wonder how bad this can get. Just like, they would much rather just feel like something, like, you know, we're not looking for a sense of continuous motion forward. We're looking for a sense that where we're going is somewhere we want to actually be going.
Yeah, he also keeps using all this like corporate speak, like momentum, profits,
synergy,
like,
algorithms,
synergy,
math.
Lightning bolts shoot from my fingertips.
And I'm just like, sir, you are so, I could tell, I'm like, sir, you are so capitalism brained that it's actually kind of painful to listen to you speak. I'm like, all he wants to do is just produce as much content as possible, like content being the key word. He doesn't care about the artistic merit of it. He's just like, I just want
content everywhere.
He's like, I'm just going to make a 16-episode animated show. Okay, buddy, you do that, and you make it good.
You have fun with that, buddy. You pat
Yeah.
him on the head.
I-
You do that, bud.
Goldman,
But no,
I
Bagel,
hope it's
capitalism
good.
isn't to blame. I don't know why
Yeah.
you
Goldman, you're a wonderful human being. Anyway, let's close this bad boy out. He's made a lot of great points, so I feel very enriched having watched this video.
Yes.
Big Star Wars. Do you like my ideas? Do you
No.
hate my ideas?
No.
Do you think some of my ideas are hit or miss? Let me know down below. Thank you everyone so much
He
for
didn't
watching
even
another one of
encounter
my
the
videos.
possibility that his ideas were just uniformly bad. He was like, tell me if you like my ideas. Do you think they're good? Do you think they're hit and miss? And then just went off. No. What about the other option there, Goldman? There's a whole other option we're not addressing there.
I'm gonna leave a mean comment on his video 1 second.
Urgh.
Don't forget to unite the Claude Squad, and I'll see you guys
Claude
next
Squad.
time.
Plod squad.
So that was a really
Fucking
good
loser.
video. I think we learned a lot.
Yes.
I'm overall
Okay,
pretty
again,
happy
what
with
the
it.
hell does the Top Gear hard hat have to do with anything? Why has he got Top Gear on the hard hat?
I don't know.
Top Gear's a much better is much better than this video or anything following his
Yeah,
way.
no, it
Watch Top Gear.
legitimately is, yeah. Sam, just like, can you imagine, like, did we just do that for Star Wars? Like, tonight on Star Wars, the Stig drives a van into
Okay, I just left my comment. It says slot max are detected.
Slot max or detect. Oh, yeah, speaking of, can we read out the comments on this video? See, like, like how people are generally responding to it.
I'd be interested, yeah.
Can someone else pull them up? Because I'm actually, you know what? I could do it on.
Yeah,
the
do it yourself, you lazy bastard.
Fuck you! I'm trying to run a
This is your
professional
stream,
live
jackass.
stream here. Okay.
Well, fucking buy me before you fuck me. Buy me dinner first, at least. Jesus.
True. Let's see. What do we got?
Bro thinks he's worth dinner.
Okay, there's one comment that just says, "I'm so worried about the droid attack on the Wookiees right now." Okay. There's a comment that says
It's been going on for 2 decades.
there's a comment that says that thread on your T-shirt is torturing me.
That was me, actually. That's my burner account.
Oh yeah, let me actually refresh it so I can see your comment. Slot maxer detected. Liked. Oh god, there's a the most recent one. The most recent one after Bagels is 3 years is too much. I would make 2 years apart. Yeah, because there wasn't enough pressure anyway. Then they could. I just that's such a hilarious mindset, right? Of like 3 years is such an egregiously long time between seasons. My solution is to make it 2 years. Like, okay.
Also,
Alright.
yeah, because I remember people said that about Severance, and while I understand like 3 years is a long time for seasons of TV to come out, would you rather it be bad, Mr. Goldman? Would you rather it suck?
Well, no,
season 2
because
wasn't perfect, but it was still
because
really good.
Well, no, of course he wouldn't rather that, but of course it's baked into his idea. Make it good.
Yeah.
Take less time to make
just
it,
keep
and also
making
make it good. Those
Yeah.
are my ideas.
Hmm.
It should not be that hard, honestly. I don't know why we're having so much trouble with this.
Yeah, just be better.
The
Just be
whole
doing
3 years
good
to 2
shit.
years thing reminds me of that Simpsons moment where it's like, how do we solve the problem? Well, we just release all of these lizards. All right, what if the lizards become a problem? We just release all the Chinese needle snakes.
Well, he's literally doing the unironic version of the South Park, like, step 1 steal socks, step 2 question mark, step 3 profit. Like, you have this, he's no connective tissue to his ideas.
Make it good.
I hope it's good.
This is literally just like so simple, guys. I don't know what your problem is. You just
Yeah.
greenlight the project and say make it good, and you hope for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, just no. Don't make it good. Hope it's good.
Hope it's good.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's the
I hope-
general sentiment, like behind the writing team too. They're like, all right, guys, I hope this is good, as they sit down to write it and to shoot it and direct
Successful billion-dollar business decisions are built on hope.
it.
This is good. I think.
Yeah, well, it's kind of it's also kind of that, it's again, sorry for bringing politics into it, but it's the fucking neo-lib mindset where it's like, well, if we just vote, everything will get better. No, bitch, you have to actually start with the fucking fundamentals of the message you're trying to spread. You idiot.
Don't apologize
Ugh.
for bringing politics into it. Fuck ICE, by the way.
Yeah, fuck ICE.
Oh yeah.
All ICE agents kill yourself immediately challenge.
Yes.
I don't know why you just said that like Palpatine, like all droids will shut down
Out
immediately.
Execute Order 66.
So yeah, that was the Goldman's big brained ideas on how to fix Star Wars, and you know what? He laid out a good 10-year plan. I'm pretty happy with it.
This man has
Yes.
170,000 subscribers. Why?
That's genuinely, because like, okay, I know this is gonna come off as like jealous or bitter or whatever, but like, I feel like
He's jealous.
he doesn't deserve to have that many more subscribers than me, considering he clearly does not put any effort into any of the fucking shit he makes.
Well, he
Bro,
has that kind of
guys, have you seen his thumbnails?
Ugh.
It's so lazy.
No, his thumbnails
every
are
single
terrible.
one was the same.
They're all fucking terrible. This one with like him and the Dave Filoni hard hat, whatever, like that's one of his better ones, and it's not even a
Yeah.
good one.
What most of his are like was it like a row of like 10 people related to a project? And it's just like, bro,
Mhm.
please, a different thumbnail.
I'm just trying to work
begging
out
you, please.
what Mustafar has to do with fixing Star Wars.
Iconic Star Wars planet.
I am
Don't think
sim-
about it.
I am sending this franchise to the Mustafa system.
Well,
We
yeah,
But, like,
have
this,
to
okay,
him.
but this is what we mean by like low effort, right? And like just like not deserving the subscriber count. Because like even for something as basic as this thumbnail, like if I was making this thumbnail and I was like, okay, the thing is about fixing Star Wars, is there like a visual image in Star Wars of them like building something or like repairing something that I could use? Like,
Ooh, you
and
could
it's
even.
like, yeah, you could use the
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say you could get that one like screenshot of Lego Complete Saga where Obi-Wan tries to fix the machine to like fix the ship, and then he shrugs. He's got like a wrench in his hand. Like that's kind of a funny one you could use. I don't know.
yeah, absolutely. Or even if you're sticking, to within the kind of like quote unquote main Star Wars content, there's the building of the Death Star from Andor or the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Mhm.
There's all there's the droid factory and stuff like that. Like there's or Anakin repairing things. Like there's so many examples.
Luke building
right,
his
of just, like,
lightsaber in that one Return of the Jedi deleted scene.
yeah, exactly. There's so many like visual cues to be like, see, look, fixing. But if you don't even have the diligence to do the simple visual connection of fixing to the franchise you're trying to talk about, why on earth should I take anything you're doing seriously?
Someone
Yeah,
said, "Sheev, you cannot be talking." Have you seen your thumbnails, dude? All my thumbnails are fucking excellent. They're masterpieces. What are you talking about?
It's so funny. Like whenever I see that stupid fucking smile on my YouTube, I fucking die. I'm like, this is so...
Hang on, do I
my
have?
favorite one? My favorite one for that was like when we were doing the Born Again coverage, and she was like, "Okay, I need to like think about what thumbnail to do," and he was like sending around like the various like still images of the show, and I pulled up that one from memory. I was like, "Oh, that's a good one." I pulled up the Matt Murdock having the shotgun pointed at him, and I was like, "You need to put the smile filter on this."
That is one of my favorite thumbnails to date. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I like the Flash one where it's Grant Gustin just like smiling, and then the title is like, "The Flash pushed my grandmother down a flight of stairs and robbed my house."
Actually, does everyone? I know some people in this call have seen it, but I want to show it to the audience. Does everyone want to see what my Stranger Things 5 thumbnail is gonna be? That shit is excellent. I'm gonna send it to the
That's some
Mongoose
cool-
chat and then save it to my fucking computer.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a
I
work
hate
of
that
art.
so much. It's so uncanny. It's so I hate that.
It's gross, but I love it.
Wait, Steve, you replaced us with.
I know.
on the screen.
I'm gonna put it up.
Oh God.
Whoa.
I will say that the Stranger Things video, what I've seen of it already, is very good, and everybody needs to watch it immediately when it comes out because it's
There it is.
It's very
Taking up
detailed.
the whole screen.
I mean, it deserves to take the full screen. Like your audience gets to marvel in it, in its beauty.
Marvel, like the Goldman's plans for Star Wars.
Oh, I really don't like that you can see every single one of the teeth in that picture. It's like 15 extra teeth.
This is going to be the best. I can't wait to get this video done so I can move on.
Well, you don't want to think about Stranger Things anymore?
Honestly, no, I really don't. And there's that animated show coming out at the end of this month, and I'm not going to talk about it in my video. I just don't have the passion.
Fucking cares.
I'm not watching that shit. You could not pay me to watch that shit.
I've seen Stranger Things.
I've seen Stranger Things.
Oh, what were we watching that made that exact joke by accident? not doing another one. Oh, what was it? Was it Toy Story? I can't even remember.
I don't remember.
I think that the video will do very, like, I know it's been a few months since it came out, but people are still like doing conformity gate on Tumblr, and I think that it still has some traction. Yeah. So
I mean, Friendly Space Ninja's video did pretty well, and I don't expect mine to do like as well because he's obviously got a much bigger following. But like, I think this video is going to do pretty well, and thank God for that because I've wasted so many months of my life on it, and if it tanks, I will actually just. I will commit a Dr. Robbie. That's all I'll say.
That clip you put of you and me and Jolly in that video was having on the floor.
It does sound that bit.
Chat, if you let Sheev's Stranger Things video bomb, I'm sending my secret army to hunt you down.
To hunt you down and defeat you.
My secret private clone army that I made on like this remote planet beyond the Outer Rim.
Speaking of total idiocy, so one of the videos we were planning, that we had as a potential one for watching this, the one that Sam recommended, he showed me like one of the criticisms of the Phantom Menace from that video, and it's like it's some of the most asinine shit you have ever heard in your life.
Literally, without spoiling it, Joy's first reaction to the very first criticism of the Phantom Menace video was, "No."
No, you will die!
Sheev, you don't understand. I promise you, like, how stupid do you think it'll be? It's even dumber.
I think it would be fun to do a video, or to do a stream covering those eventually. We'll put them on the list.
The only downside to doing them is he kind of plays the Star Wars fanfare over the entire thing.
We move, horrible. We ball.
Yeah.
Anyway, before I can close out the stream, I do want to cover the last couple of super chats that I've gotten since the last time I read them out. So, first of all, from the Doctor of All Rats for $2. That's an excellent username.
I love that.
The OT had late-stage ship baiting with Luke and Leia. Yeah, well. Well, we know how that turned out, didn't we?
Yeah.
I always thought about that.
The fuck out of that ship.
Imagine being a Luke and Leia shipper in 1983, and you go into Return of the Jedi. You're just like, oh.
Well, I guess it's kind of like being like a Sabine Ezra shipper, right? And they literally just had Ezra come on screen and be like, "I've always thought of you as a sister."
They literally just did that with the Super Mario Galaxy movie of making Peach and Rosalina sisters, and I'm like, oh, they just destroyed like 20 years of fucking fan fictions written about the two of them. Yeah.
Anyway,
like we all know Peach and Bowser are endgame.
Kinda.
You take that back. It was horrible.
Luigi and Rosalie and Peach and Bowser, and Mario just gets left on his own because he's a fucking asshole.
Because he's Chris Pratt, and he.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna get into it. Next up, from another one from Bullet Andy for $2. Which is worse, this or the Den of Nerds video? Easily the Den of Nerds video. Like, at the end of the day, this video was just kind of nothing. It was just vacuous, self-congratulating nothing. And that's all it was.
The Den of Nerds video didn't even have the whiteboard and lab coat. False advertising.
He couldn't even do basic science in the video. You know what was worse than both of those, though, was Nando's Daredevil Born Again videos. Those were fucking awful.
That by the end of that, we were all like mentally just into piles of goo.
I was actually, I was like losing everything, every shred of like.
I think like by the end of that, I was like kind of just, I literally was just grabbing the microphone, just like whispering "Help me" to the mic. I was losing it a bit.
She remind me to send you this. I need to find it. It was an old Flash review, and it said something. It's that one that said something along the lines of like Iris was upset with Barry for sacrificing himself in season 3 because she like sees the Flash and Barry as two different people. I was like, what the fuck what the fuck are you talking about?
I feel like I remember you referencing that one time when Madvocate and I were doing a stream when I was playing Bounty Hunter. Yeah, send me that when you can. I'm sure Madvocate would love that.
I need to find, like, literally he's like, yeah, like Iris sees the Flash and Barry as two different people, and I'm like, You are not spitting right now, sir.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And last but not least, another from Mr. Simps 12 for $5. Thanks to Anthony Velasquez for $5 and an anonymous donor for Tony for $10 to donating to Logan's cause. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
And
Yeah,
and again,
as we're closing out the stream, yeah, just like anyone who has if you can spare $1 or $2 to help out someone who's in dire financial need, please do click on the link attached to the top of the chat or in the description and donate. If you can't donate, which is totally fair, then please do send it around because he could really use a helping hand right now, and so anything you can spare would be, very greatly appreciated by him.
yep.
Goldman, I nominate you to donate because of your terrible opinions.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that you
Yes.
should. I think that you should compensate us for having to watch this video. Actually,
Goldman,
Mr.
we're
Goldman.
sending you to Iran.
we're th-
You will fight for Israel.
another Goldman to Israel.
Love that this image is still
20
on screen. Anyone who jumps in will be so confused. Yeah, I'm keeping it up for the rest of the
20
stream.
20
Yeah,
trillion gold men to Israel.
But I am going to probably just go ahead and close this out since we finished the video. I didn't know how long it would take. We actually managed to get it done in about 3.5 hours, so not bad, guys.
Yeah,
Not bad for a 20-minute video.
Like stream.
For us, that's like really
Good
quick.
stuff. Oh, yeah.
Does that mean that Iris cheats on Barry every time she kisses the Flash? That's a great interpretation of it, actually.
I will say, yeah. Like, if this took us 3 hours, then yeah, maybe if we did what I recommend, Confused Matthew, we'd still be on like video 1 of 3.
Yeah. We're going to save those for much a longer stream plans like in the future. I think.
Like Jolly
look
can
forward to that
understand.
around Christmas or something.
Like, Jolly will understand. The critiques in those videos are quite something. They take
They
quite
are
a bit to
bad,
break
yeah.
down.
It'll be fun. But
Well,
yeah,
then.
thank you guys
Well-
for watching. Thank you to everyone who donated and or shared the GoFundMe. And thank you, of course, to you guys for being a part of the stream with me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I was locked in the basement to the radiator, so I didn't really have a choice. But, I appreciate I appreciate the full thanks.
La 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 la. Talking over you.
This whole 3 hours, Shiva's had like a gun pointed to my head, so I've just had to go along with it.
Yeah,
I've been forced to do anything Sheev. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, if you examine the exact number of words in every sentence I've used in the stream, it'll spell out in numbers a message that can be translated to my exact coordinates. So please go help.
I've been held at gunpoint to do anything Sheev wants me to since I made him watch Megalopolis, so I didn't really have a choice either. So
That's
yeah,
just
You owed us.
we have Bagel sat in front of the racist truck from Supernatural.
like, to be honest,
Yeah.
Bagel, like that isn't torture. That's just capital punishment.
I didn't make you do anything, Sam. I only made Sheev and Jolly watch it. You did not have to be there.
You're still a bad
It
person.
didn't feel
You
like that.
voluntarily subjected yourself to do that.
It didn't feel like that.
Anyway, links to various social medias related to the fine lads and lassie that are on this panel with me can be found in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching. Have a safe flight, and thank you for boarding